I remember there was a time when we was kings and queens, prophets and rulers, judging the earth. But now we stuck at the bottom of the totem pole. Where did we go wrong as a people? I think our people need to understand this.
Cause we don't understand our own selves, drowning in sorrow with empty Hennessy bottles upon the shelf. Cause everybody wanna be a king, selling out their soul for this mean green cream thing. Paper chasing, but not facing the facts that as a nation we all done got lax, and letting the devil control us, and thinking like them damn Africans that sold us.
Those of you online, shalom, the water for joining us. We are the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. We're located at 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. Our class times are Monday. If you're in the San Antonio area, we have a school at 4219 Centergate Street, San Antonio, Texas, 78217. If you're in San Antonio, we have a school at 501 Copper Ave, Northwest, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87102. Excuse me. For live class, you can join us on the ISB HBK YouTube channel. Okay. We also have our ISB HBK cable show that we do every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Comcast Local Channel 17, or you can HBK Kids. Okay. If you need to reach a priest, you could contact Priest Kazakia at 281-707-2737, or Priest Dahawam at 832-941-2443. Mind you, those brothers are in Trinidad right now. Okay, so they're still reachable, but they might not be as reachable. They are in Trinidad, out there building. Okay, if you need to reach someone here in Houston, you can contact me at 303-557-8979. Text only during class, please. If you have any other questions or concerns, you can email us at isbhpk@gmail.com. Frankincense smoke. Excuse me. Crack that over for me. For a garment, if you need any garments made, sir. Pardon me. If you need any garments made, you can contact the sisters on Facebook at Israel Wear, and they make garments, armbands, headbands, fringe shirts, pants, tunics, whatever you need. They can get it done. Just hit them up. They're collecting Passover money. They're doing that monthly. Okay. So they're correct, and they also do monthly garments, monthly unity garments. So if you want a garment made, just get with them. They'll get that done for you. They are collecting the money for the Passover garments monthly. That way we're on track. We're on time with that. The sisters are also having a garage sale on August the 19th. Okay? And the address for that is 7824 Fair Acres Street, Houston, Texas, 77072. And that's going to start at 7 a.m. Is there an ending time?
There's no ending time.
No. So yeah, it starts at 7 a.m. until we sell everything. So if you want to help, if you want to contribute, you can send us whatever you want to send us. That way we can get that garage sale popping. We use that garage sale money to help fund the Passover. All right, we got a lot of lambs to buy. Israel been growing. Right, school's been growing, so. You know, we got a lot of lambs to buy. When we do the Passover, we have San Antonio, Houston, Albuquerque. And Austin. We got to, we're doing things out in Austin. So, that all these people coming. And then we have people that come from other places also to join in the Passover. So, yeah, we're trying to raise money for that, get them lambs, get the building, the location, garments, all the stuff we need to have a good Passover. So if you want to donate to the yard sale, whatever you want to send us, you can bring it here to the school. You can mail it in. It's 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. And while we're on that topic of donations, any form of donation, any form of contribution is welcome. Okay? pens, papers, cars, clothes, dictionaries, apocryphers, Bibles, computers. Did I say cars? Because Israel got to get around, you know. Whatever you want to donate, whatever you can donate, whatever is in your capability to donate, it's welcome, it's needed. Everyone that's already donated and helped out, we appreciate it. We appreciate that. You know, we need it. We're trying to build, so it's going all to a good cause. All right? Any monetary donations, any money you want to give, you could hit the nearest Wells Fargo. There's a bank account under Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge, and that bank account number is 101-580-6167. All right. You could also send money through Google Wallet at isbhbk@gmail.com. We're doing like a penny wars game to raise money for the Passover also. You know, it's a little game between the brothers and the sisters. It's penny wars. So we have 2 jars set up, and we're trying to see who can collect the most pennies, right? Trying to see who can collect the most pennies. Whoever collects the most pennies wins. But you put other money in the jar to kind of counteract the penny action, right? Somebody throws in 100, that kind of adds like points, and it takes away from the pennies.
Right.
So it's just a game to raise money. We gotta, you know, we're trying to be self-sufficient, but we also know that we need help. So, you know, we want to keep the Lord's feasts. We don't want to do nothing raggedy or ratchet. We like to do it nice, with class, with taste. You know, so things like that cost money. When you want to rent a building, when you want to get 10, 15 lambs, get that lamb stew, right? Get that roasted lamb on the fire.
That grilled lamb.
That grilled up lamb. Man. It costs money. So, pardon me for the coughing, y'all. We burned the frankincense and myrrh, and that smoke is hitting me.
It's getting me a little too.
Got me sounding like I've been hitting a pack of Newports or something. Man, terrible. No, we don't smoke. The frankincense and myrrh, we burn it for the Sabbath ceremony. The Most High said that our prayers go up to Him like incense. So during the Sabbath ceremony, we burn, the frankincense and myrrh. We burn the frankincense and myrrh because that goes up like a sweet savior to the Most High. So
that's Psalms 141 verse 2.
Yeah, Psalms 141 and verse 2. So right now that smoke, it just hit me in the lungs. But that's it for the announcements. This is the Sabbath. So we are going to go through the Sabbath reading. But now's the time if you got questions. Those of you online, shoot those out while we wait for that. Any brother, any sister, got any questions in class while we wait for them online?
Let me check.
Wow. Samuel, shalom, we got you, bro. We make sure that we got all the brothers and sisters in the camp, out the camp, in our prayers, man. We got you, bro. Let's wait for them to get online.
I don't have a question, but it was just, just something I was reading.
Mm-hmm.
And it stuck out to me. Just something I was reading and it stuck out to me.
So you want to testify?
Con.
It's
just how, like how it says in Deuteronomy 28 chapter,
mm-hmm.
Your eye will be evil towards your brother.
Right. Oh, we were going over that yesterday, right?
Con. But just because that was a curse doesn't mean it has to stay that way.
Right.
And so where I'm going is 2 Samuel chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
verse 21 on down, and it's David mourning over Saul and Jonathan, and it was just beautiful, just hearing how much he cared for him. He loved him. It wasn't like his eye wasn't evil towards his brother.
And think about
he still had that tender and delicateness towards him.
And think about how many times Saul tried to kill David.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, read that.
Okay, this is 2 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 21. Ye mountains of Gilboa, let there be no dew, neither let there be rain upon you, nor fields of offering, for there the shield of the mighty is vainly cast away. The shield of Saul, as though he had not been anointed with oil. 22. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan turned not back, and the sword of Saul returned not empty. Saul and Jonathan were lovely and pleasant in their lives, and in their death they were not divided. They were swifter than eagles, they were stronger than lions. Ye daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who clothed you with scarlet, with other delights, who put on ornaments of gold upon your apparel. How are the mighty fallen in the midst of battle? O Jonathan, thou wast slain in thy high places. I am distressed for thee, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant thou hast been unto me. Thy love to me was wonderful, passing the love of women. How are the mighty fallen, and the weapons of war perished? And so when I was hearing that, I was like, it's just that deep brotherly love and that deep respect that David had towards Saul, his anointed, the Lord's anointed.
Right.
And he kept the law in his mind so much, and he had so much respect for the Most High, and his choice in making Saul as king of Israel. He would not touch Saul for nothing. He would not go against Saul for nothing. And even in Saul's death, he still reverenced Saul. He was like, you know what? He was a good man. Mourn over him. He wasn't like, oh man, I'm glad Saul was out the way. He was a wicked ass nigga. I mean, sorry.
You
got but he showed compassion still, even though Saul was trying to kill him. And then even for Jonathan, because they were really close friends.
But in this society, a cat look at you wrong and you're ready to rip his face off.
Con.
You don't even know him.
Con.
He looked at you. You think he looked at you wrong and you're ready to go in on him.
Con.
Stepped on your Nike.
Right.
On your K-Swiss, and you want to kill this man.
Put a crease in your shoes.
Yeah. He stepped on your Converse, on your $19 Converse.
Con.
And you ready to kill him.
Right.
You know, so yeah, we got to really go in and examine how our forefathers dealt, man. How they dealt in life, how they dealt in death, how they dealt with one another. You got to really look at David, yeah. Mm-hmm. Saul had plenty of Saul was trying to kill David on every occasion. There was plenty of times when David could have killed Saul, and he reminded him of that.
God.
He was like, bro, I had you when you were asleep.
Mm-hmm. Look,
here's proof. Got your water canteen, you know? Yeah, I got proof. So, what David knew, yeah, it's not up to me. I can't put my hands on what the Most High anointed.
Right.
Because it wasn't his place.
And his eye, and like the curses, that part of the curse wasn't falling on David.
Right. Well, that's what happens when you move in wisdom.
John.
See, when you're unwise, lack of understanding, lack of discipline, lack of knowledge, you're gonna be cursed. You're gonna live in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. That's gonna be your home.
Con.
But once you start applying the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, counsel, all these different things, then guess what? You move on from that.
Con.
And you pull yourself up out of that, because wisdom is supposed to lift us.
Con.
So that's what happens. You get lifted out of the curses. Some will still apply to you, but the better you get, the more you keep pushing, the more you fight, the more and more you lift those curses up off of you.
Con.
And that's the point. That's what we're supposed to be doing, is coming out of the curses by following following the law.
Right. We're supposed to be at that part where instead of being cursed and the curses consuming us,
Right, and ruling over
us, we're supposed to have the blessings chasing us,
Right.
and consuming us.
Right.
And again, that just goes back to keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Being faithful, being diligent, increasing in love, compassion towards one another, and like it says in the greatest two commandments: love the Lord thy God with all thy might and thy strength, and love your neighbor as yourself.
You do that, you do that, you're fulfilling everything else, and you're getting out the curses.
Con.
And that, we got to remember, that's what it's about. How do you become uncursed? You got to do the opposite of what cursed you. What cursed us was having that evil eye towards our brother anyway. Mm-hmm. Think about Cain and Abel. Didn't Cain have an evil eye towards Abel?
He sure did.
Yeah. So
yeah.
What came first? You see,
mm-hmm.
It was that negative. As far as Cain was doing it wasn't a written law or a written curse, but they were already in there.
Mm-hmm.
Why did the Most High have to wipe out the world?
Because all that wickedness,
all that evil. So we gotta make sure that we're doing the opposite, so that we're not in the curses, so that we don't fall under that particular curse. Man, that's a rough one. Okay. It's a rough one because our people are now they're on autopilot to think, I gotta fight my brother. You don't need anything. You don't need any weird circumstances. You don't need the projects. You can pull all the Negroes out the projects. They still gonna find a way to kill one another. Mm-hmm. Because they're not understanding that that's my brother.
Right.
Let me help him and not hurt him. They don't understand the reasoning why. They don't see that they're cursed. They just conditioned now. Mm-hmm. Now it's autopilot. Now it's autopilot for me to pick up a gun, a nigga look at me wrong, I'm gonna shoot him. Or if he got his hat on the wrong way, I'm gonna shoot him. Or he got the wrong color, I'm gonna shoot him, because now I'm programmed. I'm on auto program. I've been programmed so much, they've been sticking the battery in our backs and hyping us up so much, I don't need the battery.
Right.
I don't need to be hyped. It's already in my DNA. Let me go kill that man.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to reprogram our DNA, man. We got to reprogram the things that are inside of us into more love, unity, brotherhood, sisterhood, more charity. We got to be mindful of these things. No, that was a good little point, man. That was beautiful.
There's a question online, sir.
What they got? Let's see. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Where in the Bible does it talk about? So you said where in the Bible does it talk about World War III? So, I mean, that goes into your Revelations breakdowns, your Daniel breakdowns, which we're not going to go over right now. But that's what it goes, when you hit these Revelation breakdowns, which we need to start. We have been going over some Revelations.
I think we did Daniel too, huh?
Yeah, we did Daniel 7.
Yeah.
But I think further in Revelations, I think we might have hit it. Revelations 3. But yeah, it's in the Revelations breakdowns. I don't have that on me right now, so we're going to hold off on that question. But those are in your Revelations. Those are in your Revelations breakdowns. So for those, you got to be in class, man. We go over those in class. Obviously, we stream it online, but we're not going to go into that because that's Revelations, man. You take 3-4 classes to break down one chapter. So
you can look at our past classes.
Yeah. 1 sec. That's the instructions. Yeah, those are going to be in your Revelations, but we're not going to touch on that right now. We're going to hold off on that. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Nothing. No questions in here. Yes, sir.
Whoa,
Shalom, sir. How you been?
been good. Yourself?
Good, bro. I'm good. What's your question?
I'm in Ezekiel. It really talks about the faces. It's Ezekiel chapter 1. There's verse 10. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And okay, yeah.
So Ezekiel, so what was the question?
The faces.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, does that represent like a nation or something? I mean, because they say like they have faces like a lion on one side, like an ox on the left side, and
Right.
an eagle.
No, that was literal. That's how their faces look. That's what their faces were. They were these. You got to remember, these are the angels.
So
they had a face. One had a face of a lion. He had a face of a lion one way, an eagle, an ox. These were how their faces looked.
and it's a appearance likeness of a man. So
Right.
what? I mean,
Right. Let's go. Let's go to let's just read it.
Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 10.
No. Go to No. Start at verse. Just start at verse 4. So this is the prophet Ezekiel, right?
it's that. Come on.
This is go ahead. So this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, read verse 4.
Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself,
Right?
and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire.
Go ahead.
Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures.
Right. So in verse 5 it said it came the likeness of 4 living creatures. But it was one angel. Yeah, like when you look at you see that paint, is that one? Is that painting in the back? Does it have it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that painting in the back. Not saying that that's it, but that's how they looked. So, but we're gonna read it. Watch. So he said he had the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. So read on.
And this was their appearance.
Go ahead.
They had the likeness of a man.
Go ahead.
And everyone had 4 faces.
Everyone had what?
4 faces.
So each one of them had 4 faces. So he's seen the angels, but they have 4 faces.
So like one.
Face, and a face.
Oh, okay.
Right. So they have 4 faces. Go ahead.
And everyone had 4
And
wings.
they have 4 wings. Read on.
And their feet were straight feet. And the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot.
Go ahead.
And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass.
Yeah, so what is that showing you? The angels were dark. Angels were of color. They weren't little white butt naked angels with bow and arrows that they show you. Little cupids, right?
Okay.
So they were burnished brass. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And they had the hands of a man under their wings,
Go ahead.
on their 4 sides.
Go ahead.
And they 4 had their faces and their wings
Their wings were joined one to another.
Go ahead.
They turned not when they went. They went every one straight forward.
Right. So if they wanted to go straight, they'll go straight. If they wanted to go, let's say they wanted to go left, or
Right.
this is his left. They wanted to go left.
Okay.
They wouldn't turn. They would just go. This face would just take over. Boom. So they would move like this. Yeah, they would. It was just direct movements.
Was that, was there any reason for them to look like that? I mean, was it just part of the multi-creation?
That's how the Most High made them. That's how the Most High made them.
It's just
I
a
mean, when
little
you
bit
read
young
through-
because I'm thinking like, well, maybe there's a reason why. But, I mean,
He did it to frighten you. No. He did it because, listen, when you see that it was an angel, what were you supposed to do? Recognize it,
Con. It didn't look
right?
like
It
anything
didn't
else.
look like nothing else. Think about it. When every man seen the angels,
They knew
they
it was an angel.
trembled. They fell down on their face because they knew they was dealing with an angel. But now, you see, we don't recognize anything because obviously the Most High is not sending angels down that look like that. Not at this point. But that's why he came back and said, be careful when you entertain strangers because you may entertain angels unaware. Because now he's just putting the spirit in a man. They're not going to come down looking like what Ezekiel saw.
could you say like, you could be entertaining.
Get the scripture.
Entertaining.
I'm gonna show you. The point why I said that scripture is because the Most High wanted Ezekiel to know what he was dealing with. He was dealing with the angels, right? This is the Most High, a regular man that's coming to me. This is nothing regular that I'm seeing, right? But in this day and age, we don't recognize when we have an angel in front of us because we do have angels in front of us. Now they come in the form of people as far as that spirit is in a man. I'll show you what I mean.
Hebrews.
You got it?
Hebrews chapter 13
Uh-huh.
and verse 2.
Read it.
Be not forgetful to entertain strangers.
Yeah, it said, be not forgetful to entertain strangers. So that bum on the street that's asking for $1, or the person that walks up to you like, man, you got some water, excuse me, or the person that knocks on the door like, I need some food, they do it here. Those are strangers. The Bible says, be not forgetful to entertain them. Find out what they want. Don't just rush them away. Why?
For thereby.
So by doing this, by forgetting that we're entertaining strangers, or by not entertaining the strangers, go ahead.
Some have entertained angels unawares.
Yeah, some of us have entertained angels unawareingly. You get that? Yeah, so, because why? Now the angel ain't gonna come looking like what Ezekiel saw. The angel's gonna come in the form of that bum, that homeless man, that person that needs something, the lady that's driving when you drive by and she got a flat tire, or the brother that's broken down on the side of the street where you know you could have stopped and helped, but you didn't. Where the spirit convicted you. You ever drove by somebody, you're like, damn, I should have stopped and helped that person. Because something hits you. That's a spirit. It's like,
That was yesterday.
it hits you like when you know it's in your capacity to stop. And you know that, you know, sometimes it be sketchy where you're like, I ain't gonna stop for that person because it looks, the spirit is telling you like, keep going because it's just not a good situation. But sometimes the spirit tells you, yeah, you should have stopped, or go ahead and stop. Go ahead and help them. Go ahead and give them that $1. I don't give money to all the homeless people that are out there. But sometimes that little voice in my head is like, yeah, go ahead. You know, because you assess, you look, and you're like, come on, man, you got clean clothes. You just took a shower, and you in Texas begging on the street, you ain't got no tan. That's terrible. But you know, you got to judge things. You got to judge and look and see. So that's what the scripture is saying, that you entertain angels unawareingly. But Ezekiel knew, like, no, this is the angel. That's why the Most High made him like that, and he knew what he was looking at. What, Jeremiah?
Yeah, to testify, like to what you said about
Yeah.
entertaining the strangers. The Most High, He'll encourage you through strangers too.
Yeah.
I used to, before I had a job, I had a hard time. I used to go to the labor house for hustle work.
Oh, yeah.
Go up, show up 5 in the morning, hope they pick you for some work.
Yeah.
So one day, I heard some boys talk about God and but they wasn't saying it right. So I was telling them, hey man, that's not what the scriptures say. Don't lie to the people. So I had started telling them about the scriptures. This back like 2011.
Yeah.
And every time I would like start talking about it, then they would roll their voices and everything, try to talk me.
Yeah.
Be quiet. And then when I was leaving out, a man stopped me. He was like, hey, can you come here for a second?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to do at first. I was kind of like, okay, I'm going here and back,
Right.
So when I went over there, he's like, yo, brother, I heard what you were saying to the brothers there. He said, you was right. And I seen every time they was talking, they try to overtalk you. He said, but God see you. He said, you just keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
when I turned away, but then after I turned back,
He gone.
the dude wasn't even done no more.
Yeah. That was them angels, man. Most High sent them angels to confirm things. He sent them righteous angels to protect you.
He did that to me a lot of times, man.
Yeah.
Broke down on the side of the road. I-10 going to Louisiana. I worked for Airmark, cooking food offshore.
I remember you told us this one. Yeah.
I'm riding, tires. I hit a bump and the shit all stood. The tire gone. Old man came out of nowhere. I mean, this is the darkest night, wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
People don't stop at night.
No, right.
Help me get my damn. Guess what? He gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the last instance, I was working for a timber agency at Aaron's Distribution Center on Old Richmond Road and Highway 6. But I'm coming down Bissonnet. I would take Bissonnet every morning all the way down. My car ran out of gas that morning. So first, the Most High sent, it was funny. Little crackhead come to me, hey man, you need some help? Like, yeah, brother, I got you, man. I'm gonna chuck you some change. Start pushing. But then this car came out of nowhere. Hey, y'all get out the way.
You start pushing.
In the car. Push with his car.
Yeah.
And I mean, no exaggeration. He pushed me all the way to the gas station right there. It's a little Chevron right there. He pushed me to the Chevron. So I gave the crackhead some change. When I turned to get the other guys who had just put the car was nowhere to be found.
That happened to this guy. He had ran. I remember something happened with his truck.
Yeah.
And the lady came out of nowhere and started thinking, but he got a big old Chevy pickup truck.
Yeah.
And what did she have?
She had like a little, a Sonata Jeep.
Little, and then she wrecked the whole front of her car to push this dude's truck. I'm like, and didn't say, oh, it's all good, it's fine. Like,
And
what?
brought us food.
You said what?
I said, and she brought us food.
And she brought him food. God.
Elijah and the Ravens.
Right. But so that's the thing. So that's what the scripture is saying. But I mean, back to the Ezekiel, yeah, this is how the Most High made them so they could be recognized for what they were. Yes, sir.
Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 13.
In them deep books, huh? Started Isaiah 60. Start at 60. You said 60 and 13. What's your question?
Like what's these trees? I mean, what do they represent or what do they mean? Like, they got the.
Well, let's start at verse 10. Let's start at verse 10, just so we can get it in context. Because it really wasn't really about the trees, but read verse 10. Start at Isaiah 60 and 10.
Isaiah chapter 60 verse 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls.
Go ahead.
And their king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy.
Okay, so this is talking about when Christ gets back. The strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. It's talking about the nations are going to build Israel, right? And their kings are going to be ministering to us. They're going to be giving us their riches. You get it? Go ahead.
Therefore thy gates shall be open continually.
Go ahead.
They shall not be shut day nor night.
that men may bring unto thee the force of the Gentiles.
Yeah, we're going to get all the riches. Our gates, the gates to our kingdom are going to be open continually to receive what is due to us.
So when you say gates, it mean like
literal gates.
people's transporting stuff.
They're going to be transporting things into our kingdom, yes.
Okay.
It's just like, it's no different from Solomon. When Solomon had his 40 years of peace, what was going on? All the kings of the world paid tribute to Solomon. They were sending over spices, different type of plant life, animals, gold, because not everything is indigenous to every region. You know what I mean by that? Meaning, there was a time when the palm tree was not in America. The palm tree, it's not indigenous to America. That's a tree that you find in Lebanon. That's a tree you find over in Israel, on that region of the earth. That was brought here. Just like a lot of fruits, vegetables, plant life, animals. You ever hear like during, like when Christopher Columbus came over, they brought a lot of different diseases that weren't indigenous to America. They were indigenous to that European region. That Black Plague and all that lice and all that stuff. They brought that. That's how the Native Americans died off of that. They weren't used to being exposed to that. So that's what it's saying. They were going to bring the forces of the Gentiles, right? Go ahead.
And that their kings may be brought.
Yeah, you're going to bring their kings too. Hold them hostages. Go ahead.
Verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee
Go ahead.
shall perish.
Yeah, whoever don't want to bow down to Christ in these days, they going to die. We ain't going to be playing. It ain't going to be like, oh, get on the corner and preach. No. Off with his head. Off with that king's head. Kill that whole nation. That's what we going to do.
So I mean, like they gonna pay. I mean, like how? I mean, like you gonna have someone that's gonna be around to do stuff like that?
Yeah, Christ.
Oh, Christ. Gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Christ. Read verse 13.
Verse 13. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee.
Right?
The fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together.
Go ahead.
To beautify the place of my sanctuary.
Go ahead.
And I will make the place of my feet glorious.
Yeah, so he was just saying that, I mean, the trees, he was saying to make the place beautiful. See, when you read down, it says to beautify the place of my sanctuary. Once they build it, what do trees do? It brings life. It brings beauty. Think about like palm trees. Those are some of the most beautiful trees. I love to be by palm trees, man.
Thank you, Reed.
You sitting up just looking at the like when I go to Florida, because out here they got some raggedy palm trees. I ain't gonna lie, man. The palm trees just dying and just dry. But Florida got nice palm trees. California got bro. You already know. He's from Cali. You ride down any boulevard you ride down.
Sunset.
It's just sunset. It's just a row of palm trees. You got palm trees on this side of the street. The other side of it, you got a median of just palm trees. It makes the place look beautiful. It beautifies the place. So that's what he was saying. They're gonna bring. If you want to look at the trees as representing something, the trees are gonna represent the beauty that they're gonna bring to make our kingdom beautiful. We're gonna take all their beauty and bring it over, and they're gonna beautify. I mean, you gotta just read the chapter, but you know when you look at it, it said they're gonna take. When you go back to verse 11, therefore thy gate shall be open continually. Why? Because we're gonna be receiving things from the other nations, right? They shall not shut day or night, that men may bring unto thee the forces, the wealth. When it's talking about the forces, it's talking about the wealth, the riches of the Gentiles. Think about how much they got. Think about how much the Gentiles got. Think about how much the fake Jews have in money, in gold, in riches. They're going to be bringing that to us.
But at one time, they were all ours, right?
Yeah, but that was way back when we was obedient. Think about Job. Job was rich as hell.
Wealthiest of the East.
Job, yeah, he was the wealthiest man in the East. That dude was damn near, if you want to calculate it, he was a billionaire. So all it's doing is saying that things are going to be set back in order, because what do? We're the ones bringing our riches to the Gentiles. At this point, when you go work your job, what you do? You got to pay taxes, and then you go spend the money right back with the man that you got it from. So either way, you bringing your wealth to the Gentiles. We spend more money outside the black community than in the black community. So the roles are going to be reversed. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Genesis 25:25.
Yeah, he in there. You been reading. Genesis 25 and 25. Start at, what was your question?
It's like it said like and the first came out red,
Right.
all over like an Arab garment. So what's the Arab garment, and why is it like it came out red? I mean, like.
So this is the birth. Where we at? Go to Genesis 25 and
start at 22.
no, start at verse 21.
Come on. Genesis chapter 25, verse 21.
Go to 20.
Verse 20.
Start at, yeah, start at verse 21. Sorry.
Come. Genesis chapter 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren.
Yeah, so Isaac, dealing with Isaac and Rebekah. Okay? Isaac married Rebekah. Basically, he went to the Most High, prayed to him for her to have a baby, because she was barren. She wasn't able to bear children. So he entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. Go ahead.
And the Lord was entreated
of him. He listened to him. Go ahead.
And Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
Yeah, that's how we know that he listened to him, because he asked the Most High. The Most High was like, okay, here you go. So she conceived. Go ahead.
And the children struggled together within her.
And the what?
And the children struggled together within her.
So it said, and the children struggled together within her. So we're going to find out that she was conceived with twins. But at this point, go ahead, read.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Go ahead.
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Right, she's like, if you gave me these kids, then why is there a struggle? What's going on within me? So she went to ask the Most High, because to have a child is a blessing. Correct?
Basically, I mean, like, when you go like struggle within her, I mean, so.
Well, we're gonna find out why. We're gonna read down and find out why. But that's what she was saying. She's like, why is there a struggle? Why is this pregnancy so hard? If it was a blessing from you. If I wasn't supposed to have a child, then we asked you to give us a baby, and then you give us one. Why is it so rough? So it says she went and she asked the Lord, right? Read verse 23.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations.
2 what?
2 nations are in thy womb.
So how can a person give birth to 2 nations?
That's a good question.
Well, what it was, they were the forefathers of their nations. Obviously, 2 whole nations ain't gonna come out of one person. They don't make sense. But they were the forefathers of 2 nations. They were the progenitors.
Come.
You get that? Right. So now we have Jacob, which is the forefather of Israel, and we have Esau, which is the forefather of the Edomites.
Which
So-called white men. The what?
Caucasian.
Caucasians, yeah.
But she had like,
She had twins. You got to remember, and you got to understand a little bit about science. Science tells you that color brings color. So two colors are going to produce a color, but they can also produce a non-color. But 2 non-colors can't produce colors. So I say that like 2 white people can't produce a black baby. It's impossible. No color can come from color. You see what I mean? Like you can't get color from non-color. If I get white paint and mix it with white paint, what is it always going to be?
White paint.
Always going to be white. If I take black and white, what's going to happen? Gray. If I take white, and it don't matter what color I put with it, it's going to make a color. Right? If I take black and it doesn't matter what color I put with it, it's going to make a color. Color and color always makes color. If I take two colors and mix them, what is it? How do you make? I don't remember. Purple.
Primary color.
Red and blue
Red and
makes
red.
purple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Green and yellow. Yeah. So you see. So basically, when we read down, we'll see. But it said, read verse 23.
Verse 23.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people.
Yeah, 2 manner of people. 2 manner of people, meaning they have different mannerisms, different characteristics. 2 different people, 2 different manners of people. When I say we're 2 manner of people, we have different characteristics about ourselves. You get that? So 2 manner of people, go ahead.
Shall be separated from thy bowels.
Right, 2 manner of people were going to come out of her womb. Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Go ahead.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Go ahead. So, and that was, see, now this was giving you some future prophecy. The elder was going to, it says the elder was going to serve the younger. Right?
Gone.
But watch this. Go ahead.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
There were what?
Twins in her womb.
So the Bible tells us the 2 manner of people were twins, but they weren't going to be identical twins. They were fraternal, because it said 2 manner of people shall be separated from your bowels. 2 different type of people. One's going to be stronger. One's going to be weaker. The older is going to serve the younger. Read verse 25.
And the first came out red.
He came out what?
Red.
The first came out red. Go ahead.
All over like an hairy garment.
Came out red and hairy. These were the characteristics of that man. So now, when you look at it, and I'm going to just use this basic common sense. We're going to do common sense here.
Okay.
What do white folks call themselves?
Redneck.
They call themselves rednecks. Are they actually white? Or are they red?
Leprosy.
Red.
Are they hairy as hell?
God.
They're extremely hairy. The majority, we're dealing with the majority. What's that?
And then, like, when you look up the word Esau, it means to be wasted away.
To be wasted away.
The pigmentation.
Right. They can see his pigment. They can see his pigment, his blood through his skin. Tell me if when you look at when you look at Esau, you see the veins, you ain't even gotta smack them no more. You just look at them and the red is just, they're like lobsters.
So was this like the beginning of the Caucasian? Or?
Yeah, because it said it said 2 nations. Yeah, Esau was Edom. Esau was the forefather. He was the father of that nation.
So this is how the Caucasian came about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna read on. Come on, read on.
And they called his name Esau.
Right. Aisha Shah, wasted away. Go ahead.
And after that came his brother out, and his name in his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Right. So, you see how we read up in the beginning, it says the older shall serve the younger. That was talking about a future prophecy, because right now, that ain't happening. Well, guess what's going to happen? When Christ comes back, are they not going to be our servants? And then they're going to be cut off. Right? Read on.
And his name was called Jacob.
Right?
And Isaac was 80.
So, stop right there. How come they didn't give a description of Jacob?
Because he looked like everybody else.
Come on, let him answer. I want him to think about it. How come they didn't give a description of Jacob? Why was Esau's description so, why did it need to be told?
Because no one knew.
No, because he looked different. Esau looked different from everybody else. He wasn't, they were like, what the hell's going on here? This nigga is red and hairy.
Right.
Like, wasted away. He looks wasted, he looks dead. He looks dead. They were like, wow, But then Jacob came out, he was like, okay, he's regular. He looked like us. He a brown baby. Right? Kicking, screaming, healthy. We ain't scared to touch him. He ain't all hairy. He got a little bit of blood on him.
Right.
Well, you can wipe that off. Let's clean him up, swaddle in cloth, and move on. Esau, they was like, damn, bro, you hairy as hell. Think about it, hairy. Think about it when a baby comes out hairy. This wasn't.
Yeah, I know.
This wasn't like symbolic. And the reason why we know it wasn't symbolic is when you read down, it tells you when Jacob got the blessing, he had to dress in goat's fur to act like he was Esau. That's how hairy Esau became.
That's crazy.
That's wild. Just so his father would think that that was Esau. He had to throw on goat's fur. You ever touch goat's fur? Anybody ever touch goat's fur in here?
That's thick, bro.
It's thick as hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's thick, it's coarse, it's sharp, it's all the things that you would not think was pleasant.
That mane.
Yeah, bruh. It's just rough.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta really see, why did they not describe Jacob? Because he came out looking normal. Esau was the abnormality. He came out looking different from what they were used to. So they were like, yeah, we gotta write this down.
They say we was Jacob, we are smooth people.
Yeah,
Smooth skin.
we were smooth skinned. I mean, even me, I got some hair on my arms, but it ain't to the point where you could say I'm a hairy garment. But you got some Edomites, man. They throw on a polo and they look like Teen Wolf. Like I used to work for this dude, and he would throw on a polo, and all you saw was like, you couldn't see the skin on his arms, because all you saw was hair. Then you see the hair popping through the chest, up to his, like, I'm talking about sprouting out of the top button. I'm like, bro, you gotta, but if he shave it, all it's gonna do is just grow back wilder.
Mm-hmm.
And grow back more, and grow back more. That's what hair does. You trim it, the natural reaction is to grow back stronger and more.
Except his hair.
Yeah, except for brothers that can't grow beards. But that's the thing. So, you know, you just gotta look at it for what it is. Look at what the scripture's saying that's related to what's happening. 'Cause that's what it is.
Yeah, I kind of missed that part, but now.
Yeah, and that's why you gotta make sure that when you read it, you're reading things. Oh, wait a minute. You're reading things slow. You're reading things, you know, you're looking up words, like right now, hold on. You're looking up words to give you the better understanding.
Okay.
Yeah, so. Handling rough. Let's see. Yeah, it's like when you look up the Strong's definition of Esau, just the name, it says hairy. It says handling as in rough. So when they handled him, it was like, damn, this dude's skin is rough. But it was because he was hairy. They're like, ah. You get that?
Okay.
Yeah, imagine you go pick up something, and a little animal is there. You're like, oh, whoa! You thought you were picking up a rock, and you pick up a hairy squirrel. And you're like, oh, whoa!
Right.
You gonna right? Wait, you gonna toss that off? Like, man, what the?
You saying Esau was dropped and said as a baby?
It should have, but that couldn't happen. What's that?
I have a question. Being that Esau and Cain have similarities,
Mhm.
would Cain's skin tone be brown or so-called white? Like, was he a white man or was he a?
Nah, Cain. When the only similarities they had was the spirit. They had that negative seed in them. Cain was dark skinned, just like his brother. They shared the characteristics of that evil spirit towards their brother.
And that's the mark that the Most High put on Cain, or?
That's a mark Cain put on his damn self. He didn't want to obey.
Oh.
I mean, when you read, I'm just saying, yeah, you know, that's how, when the Most High talks about you have the spirit of Cain, you got that spirit, like going back to Genesis 28 and 54, where it says your eyes should be evil towards your brother. That's what Cain was in. Deuteronomy 28. Cain had that evil eye towards his brother, just Just how Esau has that evil eye towards Jacob, that evil eye towards his brother. Think about it. We talked about it yesterday. The Most High uses Esau as a tool. He used him as a tool to correct us. But they take it excessive. You know, when you start cutting babies out wombs and castrating men and hanging people from trees, that's excessive. They didn't have to go about it in that manner. They could have put us in slavery, did what they had to do, and let us go.
So those works, the excessive works would be of like the devil instead of the Most High actually putting that spirit in them?
Yeah.
Okay.
They went the way of this. That's why it says the spirit in him is not upright. They don't have that uprightness in them to say, look, I'm going to follow the laws of the Most High. Go to Obadiah real quick. Is it in there? The spirit in him is not okay. Yeah, so those works, those excessive works were definitely of Satan. Go to go to that real quick. Where you at?
Obadiah chapter 1, or Obadiah verse 10.
Uh-huh.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
I don't want that. Go to John 8 and 44. St. John 8 and 44. Watch this.
St. John chapter 8 verse 44.
So, hold on. So in this chapter, the scribes and the Pharisees, they came to Christ, right? They're having this conversation. They're going back and forth. They're like, we're of Abraham's seed. Right? But then what does Christ, when you read down, what does he say? Read that, verse 8 and 44.
Ye are of your father the devil.
Right. So ye are of your father the devil. Why? Go ahead.
And the lust of your father ye will do.
Yeah, because you did his lust. You perpetuated his hate, his murder, his stealing, his robbery. Go ahead.
He was a murderer from the beginning.
He was a what?
Murderer from the beginning.
Go ahead.
And abode not in the truth.
Did that not fit Cain? Cain didn't abide in the truth. Cain was jealous because he brought the wrong offering. So we know that if Cain brought the wrong offering and Abel brought the correct offering, what did they have? What did they have to know to bring the correct offering?
Law.
They had the law. Right. The scriptures say the law is true, right? He said he didn't abide. He said that you're of your father the devil. He was a murderer from the beginning, Cain, and he did not abide in the law, but he did not abide in the truth. So it was when he references Cain to Esau, or when we do that, it's just talking about the spirit that was in Cain, and the spirit that's in Esau. They have a parallel, but as far as skin tone, I mean, it doesn't describe
Cain.
It doesn't describe Cain. It doesn't describe Abel. You know why? Because it doesn't have to. Because we know they came from Adam and Eve, and we know how they looked. Right. And the reason why it does describe Esau is because he was the anomaly. He looked different. Yeah. You get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you know, it wasn't like the same notation, because when he said he put the mark upon Cain's forehead and not upon his whole body.
Right. Well, where were we at? Go back to Genesis 25 real quick. Let's just. Yeah, we can read verse 27 real quick. Genesis 25 and 27.
Genesis 25 verse 27. And the boys grew, And Esau was a cunning hunter.
Alright, so let me ask y'all a question.
Come on, Mark.
Let me ask y'all a question, man.
Who got the antlers on their walls?
Who be out in the field hunting everything, including other men?
God. Esau.
Where the hell is the Arabs at out here hunting?
Allah.
They are shepherds and herders. They ain't out here sprinkling themselves with deer piss, sitting in a box for 3 days waiting for a damn buck to walk by. They ain't out here doing duck calls.
Animal Planet.
Yeah, come on, man. Bear Grylls. You know, y'all watch Bear Grylls?
Mm-hmm.
They dropped that dude from a plane, and all of a sudden he just eating raw fish. I seen this dude. Oh my God. I seen this dude gut a camel
And living it.
and live in it
Yeah.
because they dropped him in the desert over there in the Middle East. It gets cold at night. They dropped him in the desert. This man gutted a camel, reached inside his third stomach because a camel chews the cud. They're unlawful to eat. But he said, if you're ever thirsty, you reach into that third stomach because everything is purified. And he grabbed all that mush out and squeezed it into his mouth.
Hell.
Hey, he didn't die of thirst. And it's purified. It's no different than reaching into a cow's stomach. A cow's third stomach. Because everything there's no bacteria. There's no everything. The reason why a cow chews the cud is to get rid of that bacteria. So everything in there is purified. What's that?
Okay, so it's purified,
Yeah.
and he squeezed it. Wouldn't he be squeezing some blood in his mouth too?
No, he reached in. No. He cut the stomach
Okay.
and went in. Because the stomach is just a sack. When he cut that lining, that stomach lining, no,
Okay.
there was no blood. It was just whatever little greenery the camel was eating. Because camels eat greenery.
Con.
Yeah. Squeezed it.
Dang.
Pure water right in his mouth. Gutted the rest of the camel, used it as shelter. I was like, damn. He didn't freeze to death.
He's
Cunning.
Cunning.
Think about, they set traps. I mean, think about it. They hunt your ass every day when you're getting pulled over. They setting speed traps. Why did they call them speed traps? Because he's a cunning hunter. A speed trap,
Snares.
right? Esau's cunning. He knows how to trap any animal that he wants to catch, including a man. Show me who else is doing this. Who's creating the weaponry to trap you and to trap these animals? How do you know what to use to trap a bear or trap a whale or trap a dolphin? I mean, come on.
Con.
Who else is doing it? If Esau ain't the white man, I don't want to go into that, but I mean, let's think logically. A man of the what? Said he was a man.
Esau was a
Cunning
cunning
hunter
hunter.
and a man of the field. The field is the world. He knew the world. He's a worldly man. He's worldly. He knows a little bit about everything. He's into everything. Ain't that your typical Edomite? He's versed in everything. Ain't that what they call their Rhodes scholars? Their Masons?
Con.
They call them Rhodes scholars. They got to know a little bit about the world. They got to know about everything that went on, that's going on, and that's going to happen. Read on.
And Jacob was a plain man,
Go ahead.
dwelling in tents.
Where was he at?
Dwelling in tents.
Jacob was like, man, I'm at the crib, bro. I'm chilling. All I needed some shade,
Mm-hmm.
some TV,
You know what I'm saying?
something to eat, and I'm good. Ain't that Jake?
Come.
Just want to sit at home in his drawers all day, right? And watch MTV, watch ESPN, play video games.
Good old Jake.
I mean, I don't get it. How come we know that's Jacob, but then we got to dispute that's not Esau? How come we know the characteristics of Jacob? And it gave you the two main characteristics. We just want to chill. We plain. We regular. We don't need to do too much to be happy. Sit at the crib with a little bottle of Hennessy and some ice. Come on, we good. What's up, John? Ain't it real? What is the typical Jake want to do? Especially old Jake. Well, he want to go home after work with a six-pack. Yeah, with his couch, his favorite couch, his TV.
Just chill.
And some food, yeah. As long as he got a food, some drink, and his TV, his remote. He is good. Yeah. Especially OJ. OJ, I remember I used to work at the 7-11. And this old man would come in. He was an older man. He would come in every day. He'd get some Seagram's gin, and he would get some gin and something else. And so yeah, he would have something because every day. And I said, man, what's up with that? He said, listen, I'm a bus driver. This is how I relax. Every day I go, I get my drink, I sit on my couch with my remote control. Leave me the hell alone for 2 hours. Then I go to bed. Dang. I said, damn. And this is how I found out, because he had his grandkids in the 7-Eleven. And they was taking long as hell to get whatever they were getting. He's like, man, listen, he was getting upset. Because he's like, y'all making me miss my show. Y'all making me, he was mad. I'm like, man, you gotta get you a DVR or something. Well, he was upset because they were taking too long to purchase whatever they were purchasing. He's like, yo, listen, y'all ruining, y'all interrupting my night. My chill time. Mm-hmm. You know? Because that's what Jay likes to do.
Chill.
Just chill. Relax and chill. Right? I'm kicking it. What's Jake always do? I'm kicking it. Where you at? At the crib? Chilling. What's up, John?
I was watching something years ago and they was talking about they were just going around the street talking to Jakes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite car? Like, that's out of the range. Not Mercedes, just $500,000. They was just naming these cars. They said, now if were any females on the earth, would you want that car? And you saw people just thinking it like,
hell nah.
Because they just want it's just to impress. It's
not
really what they
want. You want you just need something to get you around.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you're just using it to impress.
Yeah.
You just saw a lot of people just stopping and thinking, like, if there were no females on earth, would you still want that car? And they were like,
there's no need for it now.
I still want to Lamborghini.
I'm using the car to get the women. Yeah, I'll walk. When you don't want no chick seeing you walk, so Jake now got to impress.
Exactly.
But his mentality, our mentality was always to keep it simple. That was the mentality of Jacob. Let's do things simple. We ain't got to be extravagant and out there. What's up?
That's how you know it to this day, because it really don't take that much to please, especially the men. Like,
right.
We acquire a lot of stuff because our women, you know, they
got the mentality, right.
So we get a lot of stuff to make them comfortable.
Right.
But when we without a woman, or you think about when you didn't have a woman, I didn't have any paper cable because I didn't care about TV.
Right.
But I'm paying for this or keeping the AC on all the time. I don't care.
Because what do we want? Food and sex.
Food and sex. That's it.
Food and sex, and making sure the roof is over our head.
God.
So we in the crib.
Right.
Let's be real. That's how you know us. Food, sex, and a covering, so we don't get rained on. Other than that, man, we can care. Like, you got those women. They care. You got those brothers where you see them parading their women through the mall, or their woman is parading them through the mall. And he just sitting there like, man, she trying to get curtains for the house and this. He's like, I don't give a damn. I just want to be at home watching the game.
Right. Sitting out by the trash can outside.
Yeah, he out by the trash can outside Victoria's Secret. She's getting all done up. He's sitting here like, man, they coming off anyway. I don't care.
Right.
You got a question?
Would you like me to block the comments?
Oh, they talking about Esau in there?
Something like
They going in? Like, but they're the Arabs. You're off, brother. Is that what's going? Let me look at it so I can laugh. Listen, man, if you coming on here to battle and debate, you chose the wrong channel, mate. Because we ain't doing all that. You can shoot them to class if you want. Who is Esau? Who is Edom? Let's see. I love my brothers, but sometimes we are dumb. We are dumb as a box of rocks. The first mighty hunter was before Esau was born. Enough with the dumb doctrines, especially on the Sabbath. Con, bro, we didn't say that Esau was the first mighty hunter. The Bible says he was a cunning hunter. So what you got to do is rewind the tape and listen to what I said. Never said that Esau was the first mighty hunter. The Bible, let's read it again for him. Who is that? Cal?
Genesis 25 and 27.
Genesis chapter 25 and 27. The boys grew And Esau was a cunning hunter. That's what the Bible says. Thus saith the Lord.
Yes,
I didn't say it. I didn't say that he was the only hunter. I didn't say he was the only mighty hunter. I'm reading what the scriptures say. He was a cunning hunter. All right. So before you hop on the page, trying to debate, trying to put your opinion out there, understand what's being said. You know, we went through a class about listening, the art of listening. Obviously, you weren't there. You weren't there for that class. That class was important. That class was about your salvation.
You needed that class.
You need that class. You need to learn how to listen. All right? One of the steps of listening is receiving the information and then understanding what's being said. Obviously, you don't understand. That's it on that. But, let's see. As Hebrew Israelites, if we don't have anything good or encouraging to say to one another, we should keep our mouth shut, especially if you don't know what you're talking about, Brother Cal. The water, Samuel. Samuel's listening. Cal, you ain't listening. You on the page trolling. You need to hop about of Deuteronomy 28 and 54 down. Hop about that curse, bro. Remove that evil eye from yourself.
There's another question up.
Yeah, what else we got? Is there another question?
Yes, above the cow.
God, which Hebrew holidays should I keep as a Hebrew, and what days are they on? Which Hebrew holidays? Cal, get off this page. My God bless you. Yeah, Cal, go make your own page and teach. Set up your own school. Make sure that you get out there on the Sabbath and street teach. If you ain't doing that, shut up. Bottom line, get off the page. I don't even got to say it. Everybody else is checking you. It's the sad part. Taylor, get me, let's see here. What holidays should I am looking for a home camp, and this is not it. Shalom, bro. Shalom. We ain't begging you to be a part of our camp. Obviously, if you're looking for a camp, you don't know the truth. You need to be taught. You want to be a teacher, man, but you ain't been taught nothing, man. What holidays should you keep? Taylor, where's it at? Taylor Fleming, which Hebrew holidays should I keep holy as a Hebrew, and what days are they on? Well, you want to keep all of them. You want to try to keep all the holidays. Go into Zondervan and look up feast days. But I mean, you have Day of Atonement, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Feast of Tabernacles,
Trumpets.
We have blowing of the trumpets, Purim, Feast of Lights, Pentecost. But we're gonna look it up. Look up feast days.
It says, you want the date?
Let me see. Yeah, so, the Sabbath you want to keep? So, right now we're in the Zondervan. We're just looking up all the feast days. All right? So, Zondervan Victoria Bible Dictionary, page 280, under feasts. So, you got the weekly Sabbath, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown of every week. You got the Passover, or the feast. You got the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay? You have the Feast of Pentecost, the Feast of the Blowing of the Trumps, or the New Moon, the Day of Atonement, you have the Feast of Tabernacles, or Feast of Booth, the Feast of Lights, and the Feast of Purim. Okay? And you can find all those feasts. Where y'all at? Y'all got it?
I got Day of Atonement.
Leviticus 23.
Yeah.
Feast of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Day of Atonement.
love when they come on the page and try to argue. Rouse me up.
Love pumping.
You know, yeah. Not really, because it's stupid. Where you at, Jeremiah?
Leviticus 23 and 24, the feast of the Lord.
It
starts out with the Sabbath, and it goes into the other feasts.
Yeah, you could actually read Leviticus 24 down, Leviticus 23 and 24 down, and it'll give you all the feast days.
And tell you how to keep it.
Oh yeah, right there. Start with Day of Atonement.
Yeah. Well, where you at?
26.
No, start at 24. Yeah, start at 24. But yeah, we don't have to read. We're not gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can start at verse 24, Leviticus 23 and verse 24, and read that down to give you all the feast days and how to keep them. All right. I forget all the dates off the top of my dome. It's part of the officer's test. I forgot it. I've already forgotten some of the dates. Where's Zion Allah when I need him? He's studying that.
Most of them start like in the middle of the month.
Yeah, it's yeah.
At the beginning.
Right, it's a lot of dates for the feasts. We can get that for you. For the person that asks a question online, we can get that for you, the dates.
The second month is the first one.
Text me your number. Or send your, text me 303-557-8979. Text me that question, and I'll get you the exact dates, and I'll get you all the feast days in order. All right? I'll get you the dates and the allotted times that we're supposed to celebrate them. I don't remember them off the top of the dome. My memory is not as great as it once was. Any more questions?
No, sir.
All right. Nothing else online? Cal, you got to get it together, bro. You got to get it together. Go ahead and get you a YouTube page. Go ahead and get you a Facebook page. Go ahead and get you an Instagram. That's what you want to do. Then again, you probably be teaching the wrong thing, so you shouldn't do that. What you got?
Oh, this is, I don't know. I remember when we had got these, and it just tell you the 7th day of the 10th month. It don't tell you a date. It don't tell you a date. When did you get those? We got that at the summit.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's back in the gap.
I never got one. Okay, this is dope.
Yeah, you got it. You got everything in the I was looking at that last week.
Yeah, Taylor, text me that question. Just text me 303-557-8979. I'll get you the dates. All right, but sometimes the dates are subject to change, but I'll get you those. I'll just get you that information. Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter and the 12th verse. So the first reader, you're gonna start at Deuteronomy 7 and 12. You're gonna take it to Deuteronomy 8 and 6. And let's see. Let everybody get there. Listen, we don't mind when y'all ask questions, but if you're gonna get on, if you're gonna get on the channel and start criticizing and calling us ignorant and whatever he said, we gonna boot you off, man. You gonna I mean, listen. If you were the teacher, then you would be teaching. So we got no problem with the questions, man. But when you start getting ignorant and disrespectful on the page, we ain't gonna deal with that.
1 Corinthians 14 and 40.
Where you at?
Let all things be done decently in order.
All things must be done decently and in order. All things must be done with respect. There's a way to challenge things respectfully.
Come.
You don't gotta be up here calling brothers ignorant Hebrews. Like, come on. Where's that at in the Bible?
That's back to that evil eye.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to come about the curses.
Yeah, he's hanging in the curses.
Yeah, but that's our people. They think because they might have we got some different understanding and different wisdom, that because my understanding is different from yours, now you're the ignorant one.
Right.
Or because you might not have all the scriptures, you're the ignorant one. No. You're the ignorant one for calling me ignorant. Anyway, enough of that. Go to let's do this reading. Let's have some fun with this reading. Deuteronomy 7 and 12. Ray, do that.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 12.
Y'all there?
Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments, and keep and do them, that the Lord thy God shall keep unto thee the covenant, and the mercy which he sware unto you.
You know what's sad, man? Real quick. This brother hops on the page and said he's looking for a camp, and he it just hit me. Cal, you looking for a camp, and you determined that in one YouTube session? We're not even what, 2 hours in the class? That's how you determine where you're supposed to go learn? You determine that within an hour? Come on, bro. You ain't even giving yourself a chance, man. Cause you gonna just hop page to page? You a page hopper? Yeah. Come on, man. You gotta stop it. Our people gotta stop. We gotta stop being so judgmental. Get the understanding of what's going on. Understand. The scriptures say, be swift to hear. Understand the matter and then rebuke. You didn't even give yourself a chance, bro. You don't know us. Like we don't know you, but I do know your spirit. That judgmental, unfaithful, slothful, talk about it but don't be about it. That's you. Just in your comments, that's you. Ever learning but not coming to the truth of the Most High. Not realizing the power of the Most High. Was that?
Proverbs, it's a foolish thing to speak before you hear the whole.
Yeah, you speak before you hear, man. Anyway, go back to the reading. I just had to say that.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 12. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments, and keep and do them, that the Lord thy God shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers. Mm-hmm. And he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb and the fruit of thy land, thy corn and thy wine and thine oil, the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep, in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you, or among your cattle. And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee. Verse 16. And thou shalt consume all the people which the Lord thy God shall deliver thee. Thine eye shall have no pity upon them, neither shalt thou serve their gods, for that will be a snare unto thee. If thou shalt say in thine heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispossess them? Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt be well remember what the Lord thy God did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt, the great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the sign of the wonders, and the mighty hand, and the stretched out arm, whereby the Lord thy God brought thee out. So shall the Lord thy God do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid. Verse 20. Moreover, the Lord thy God will send the hornets among them, until they that are left and hide themselves from thee be destroyed.
So the Most High was reminding us of all the things that happened in Egypt. And he was telling us, listen, if y'all do right by me, I'm going to do right by y'all. I'm going to Keep the commandments. I mean, we started out, therefore, if thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and judgments which I command thee this day, and do them, that this is what would happen. Whatever happened in Egypt is going to happen to any enemy you have. Y'all going to be blessed. No one's going to be barren. Y'all going to be rich. Your flocks, your sheep, everything's going to be great.
No sickness.
No sickness, no plagues. I'll play your enemies, but y'all will be protected, right? So that's where we at this far. So go ahead.
Verse 21. Thou shalt not be affrighted at them, for the Lord thy God is among you, a mighty God and terrible.
Yeah, but now a little 5-foot officer runs up on you. A group of 6-foot black men, a little 5-foot officer, female, runs up, and they all scatter like roaches. Because the Most High is not with us in that way. We don't have the strength of the Most High. Because we're not keeping the law. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And the Lord thy God will put out those nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. But the Lord thy God shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction, until they be destroyed. And he shall deliver their kings into thine hand, and thou shalt destroy their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee, until thou have destroyed them. The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein.
But we went and did the total opposite. We went and made us our own golden image. Right? We made, man, we got to see it, man. The Most High said, don't even take the gold and silver that's on their altars. And what did we do? Took it anyway, and then built our own damn golden calf. Right? Go ahead.
For it is an abomination to the Lord thy God. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it. But thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing. Chapter 8, verse 1. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply, and go in the possess and go and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the ways which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know that what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doeth not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doeth man live.
Where was that quoted at? Who quoted that?
Christ.
Yeah, Matthew 4:4, right? Yeah. See, Christ, that's why he said, lo, I come in the volume of the book that is written of me. Christ was quoting all the way back in Deuteronomy. That's cold, man. He was quoting all the way back in Deuteronomy. Man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that cometh from the Father. So, I mean, we got to see that too. You know, that's why it's good that we do these readings, because now we're able to link up different quotations and different precepts and see, oh, damn, Christ said that, but that's all the way here in Genesis, you know.
And then we got to remember too, when Christ was first speaking, that was the beginning of what they so-called called the New Testament.
Yeah.
So everything that he was teaching was
the Old Testament. Because think about it, if he's teaching, if I'm currently teaching you something, what do I have to teach from? I gotta teach something that's from the old.
What you taught last
What I
night.
right. Gotta teach from the old path. So it goes right along with it. So for people to think that like Christ came and he just did away with everything, but that's why he had to plainly say, think not that I've come to destroy the law or the prophets. See, people don't understand what his fulfilling was. They think, oh yeah, it said he fulfilled it, so it's gone. That don't mean the same thing. That don't mean the same thing. It means he fulfilled it. That means he did away with that death. The fulfilling was that death. You ain't gotta die. You ain't gotta die for the law. Go to just on this point. Go to y'all know what manna is? What is it?
Angel fools.
Con. But y'all know what it is?
It was like, if we had to compare it to what's done, the way it was described, it was like the sugar wafers. But they had honey on it.
Grass and seed.
How would I?
Well, when you say what was it, what is it? It was, is that what you're asking? So it was the food that the Most High had fall from heaven to feed Israel when they were in the wilderness. And if I'm not mistaken, it was, when they tasted it, it was whatever their imagination, right?
Said wafers.
Go to Exodus 16 and verse 11. And I remember I was watching, you know how you watch Esau on like the Discovery Channel? And they always try to find a way to justify like what the Most High did. They try to find some carnal way to justify. And so I was watching something and they said that the manna was made by a machine. They had a manna machine. God, I was like, oh. They had a manna machine. That's what they would say. That's what they said on like the Discovery Channel or some crap, that they had a manna machine. It's just like when you I was watching one, they were going through the plagues of Egypt. It's crazy, right? But no, I was going through one when they were talking about the plagues of Egypt. And they were saying, well, the reason why there was blood in the water because there was frogs, and then the alligators came and ate the blood, ate whatever the fish, and the water became bloody because of all the animals. I'm like, nah. And then when you watch the movie, Exodus, God and Kings, what happened? The animals were in the water eating the other animals, and it made the river, the waters bloody. But we know that's not how that went down. So Esau would be trying to justify this. I just thought it hit me, the manna machine, for some reason. Every time I read the word manna, the manna machine hits me. Right? But go to Exodus 16 and verse 11 and read that.
Exodus chapter 16, verse 11. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmuring of the children of Israel.
Right?
Speak unto them, saying, at even ye shall eat flesh.
You shall eat what?
Eat flesh.
Because why were they murmuring?
Because they were talking about the meat that they had in Egypt.
Yeah, they were hungry as hell. Right? So he said at the evening, what's going to happen?
At the evening, ye shall eat flesh.
Okay,
and,
so in the evening, you're going to eat flesh. Read on.
And in the morning, ye shall be filled with bread.
And you shall be filled with what?
With bread.
Go ahead.
And ye shall know that I am the Lord your God.
So we're dealing with meat. We're dealing with flesh and bread. Right? Go ahead.
And it came to pass that at evening, even the quails came up.
The what?
Quails came up and covered the camp.
So a quail is a bird. Right? So it came up and did what? Read.
And covered the camp.
Go ahead.
And in the morning the dew lay around about the host.
Go ahead. So there was a dew that came. A dew. You know, like how you get like yeah, in the morning you get that moisture that like it happens here, that thick humidity that you can see. Yeah. That dew came. Go ahead.
And when the dew that lay was going up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, a small as the hoar frost on the ground.
Go ahead.
And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, Is it manna?
Go ahead.
For they wist not what it was.
They didn't know what it was. See, this is the manna. So the Most High said you're going to eat flesh and bread. Bread and flesh. Yeah, it was both. It was quails and bread. It wasn't no mystical thing. The Most High flooded the area with quail. That's why he said it fell from heaven. Don't birds fly? You see that? Read on.
And Moses said unto them, This is the bread.
This is the what?
This is the bread which the Lord.
Manna was bread and quail. So don't nobody deceive you that there was a manna machine, that there was some just some weird thing that happened. No, bread and quail, man, is what they ate. The Most High will provide. But you see that? He made the quail. Huh? Yeah, that's what we learned that manna is. It said think about it, they were starving. He said you're going to eat flesh and bread. What was the flesh? It was the quail. What do quails do? They fly. Right.
The dictionary doesn't give that.
Well, we dealing with the scriptures. This is the dictionary.
Yeah,
you got to remember. Well, that's the key. They want to keep it, because what do they say that manna is? What do they say? What is a dictionary? Let's look it up.
Angel food.
Yeah, but does that really describe what it is? We know that okay, it's angels' food. The angels ate it. But does the Bible actually tells you what it is?
Yeah.
You see, and that's why we have to go to the source. Because angel food is just a broad description. That could be anything. What they eat? Dirt?
And what's crazy is, when you finish reading on what happens to it, when they didn't follow the instructions after they.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about in the same chapter?
Yeah, if they didn't follow the instructions and not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Didn't take just enough.
Right.
He provided for them every day.
Right. That's the thing. He provided it every day.
Every day.
Watch this.
Except the Sabbath day.
I'm standing harping until the morning and bread warmed and staying
Verse 35.
No,
It's actually
read verse 16. Read verse 16. Let's read down real quick.
Verse 16.
Uh-huh.
This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded.
Uh-huh.
Gather of it every man according to his eating.
Right, because some men ate more than others. So if you was a big dude, you might have to get you an extra 3 quails. You might need like 3 quails in you. You might need like 4 loaves. You know?
Well, right now.
Because quails, they weren't. They're small birds, like game. What do they call them? Gamish hens. Yeah, Gamish. What do they call it? Cornish hens. Yeah, like Cornish hen. They were small. I devour with. I mean, come on. Yeah, I need 2 of them. Especially if I was starving and I ain't ate. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
You know what?
Eat in a minute.
You know what's funny about that?
Go in.
You know what's funny about that? Me and my dad, we used to do a lot of construction. Me and my dad, my uncle, we would do construction. We'd be out, landscaping. We'd be building these basements, remodeling. You know what we'd always eat? It just hit me. We'd always go to Walmart and get the rotisserie chicken and a loaf of bread.
That's all you need.
And that's what we ate. I'm telling you, we would sit there and devour it.
Mm-hmm.
Back to what we would do. We just get like 4 of those. Some French bread or some nice Hawaiian sweet rolls.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby. That's all you needed. Something to drink. That's it.
How much money you spray?
And it don't cost that much money.
$7.
That was like the angel sent it. Like, damn, the angel said that because you be mad when you walk into that Walmart, man. It's only 1 bird. You're like, damn, y'all got all the rotisserie chicken. You be mad when there's only 1 and there's 3 of y'all, and you know you need at least 4. You know, so that hit me, man. It's funny, but it just you keep in that same mind of doing things back in your tradition that you do now. You look and you like, damn, it was instilled in you. It was bred into you. You know, but I'll read verse 16.
And Omer, for every man,
right,
according to the number of your persons.
Go ahead.
Take ye every man for them which are in his tent.
Go ahead.
And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more and some less.
Right, because that's what they had to do. Go ahead.
And when they did meeting it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack.
So basically, when they gathered to their amount that they needed, you didn't take so much that you had to have some sitting on the side. You took enough to your eating, and if you took a little, that was enough to fill you. You took a lot, your eyes weren't bigger than your belly.
Right.
Go ahead.
They gathered every man according to his eating.
Go ahead.
And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning.
Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, they hearkened not.
What did Israel do?
They hearkened not.
They didn't listen. Go ahead.
Unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms.
Because these niggas were so faithless, they were like, well, we don't know if the manna is going to come today, so we're going to have to just like store some of this for tomorrow. You faithless, perverse generation. Hard-headed. But no, it was a lack of faith. That's what it was. It was a lack of faith in knowing that the Most High was going to provide daily. Think not what you shall eat or what you shall drink. You see that? We were so worried about eating and drinking and that it wasn't going to come. It's like, man, I got to store some of this up. I got to make sure that I'm good. But then look what happened. Read.
And it bred worms.
It did what?
It bred worms.
In one day, it went bad. Instantly, because the Most High was trying to show you. You ain't got to store up nothing. I got you. But since you don't want to listen, I'm going to kill what you're trying to build up. That's why he says, store your possessions in heaven, where moth and rot do not corrupt. You see that?
Yes.
We were trying to store the carnal things and not store up the faith. Go ahead.
And stank.
And it stank. Go ahead.
And Moses was wroth with them.
And he was mad as hell. He was like, man, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Y'all don't listen? Go.
And they gathered it every morning.
They did what?
And they gathered it every morning.
Yeah, they did it every morning, but you still had some hard-headed, faithless ass Israelites that was like, I know we get it every morning, but guess what? I'm going to still just store a little bit over here. I'm going to break off a half and hide it under the couch. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to hide it under my tent, my pillow. Yeah, the Most High didn't want you to do that. He wanted you to roll in faith. But he said, since you're gonna be faithless as hell, I'm gonna just let the worms get it anyway. I'm gonna let it rot overnight, and now you're gonna have to go out and gather anyway. It's gonna be there for you. See, we gotta look at the mentality of even the people that saw blessing after blessing firsthand, miracle after miracle firsthand, even how they rolled faithless. And we gotta make sure that we don't roll in that. When it's like, wait a minute, it just rained damn fowls from the air. It just rained birds and bread just came out of nowhere. Like, how could you be faithless after that? And it was happening every single day.
For 40 years.
I'd be like, man, Khan, let me fall in line. You know what I'm saying? Like, Khan, brother, Khan, Moses, you got it. Khan, Most High, I will believe. But it's the mentality of our people, man, is to, if we can't see it, we don't believe it.
They seen it.
Right.
They seen
it, but that's what I was gonna say. We're programmed, if we don't see it, we don't believe it. But even when you show our people, it says the Jews require a sign, and even when you give them that sign, they're like, nah, that ain't real.
Yeah.
But it says it right here that Christ was black. Songs of Solomon, he said that he was black but beautiful. Nah. Who wrote that? White man wrote that. Then now it's the excuses. First, it couldn't be real. Then you show them. Then it's the excuses. Then it's like, man, just go sit down in the corner somewhere. We can't deal with you. Then you get cats like Cal that come on Facebook and want to battle and rebuttal. You see? Yeah, or on the YouTube. You get cats like that. That's where they come from. He was that brother. He was the one here with Moses when the manna was coming. He was like, nah, this can't be. I'm gonna store it up.
Right.
You cats is off. Y'all gonna eat all the food right now? Y'all off. I'm gonna store mine. Somebody had their hand up? What's up, John?
Why are we like this as a people? Like,
why are we like this as a people? You mean now?
I mean,
or as in general?
Yeah, in general.
Well, because for one, we left off of wisdom. We left off of the understanding of how the Most High works. That's what we left off of. You know, I mean, bottom line, we left wisdom, man. We left the power of the Most High. We left off the grace.
You can see so much. It's right there, and even
yeah,
they saw the miracle. It's not registered.
It's not registered because
even today you show.
You know, when you start getting into the realm of sin and doing, go to our Wisdom of Solomon real quick. This is why, man. Go to Wisdom of Solomon 1.
There?
Huh?
I'm there.
Go to Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 4.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 4.
Go ahead.
For into a malicious soul.
See, our people started becoming malicious. They started wanting to do things the way they wanted to do it. They wanted to follow different doctrines and follow other gods and eat the foul foods. So, as soon as you dabble into something other than the wisdom of the Most High, guess what's going to happen? Read.
For into a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter.
The wisdom starts to stop entering you. Because now that sin is taken over. So our people, they love to sin. Like the scriptures say, they're quick to riot. They're quick to sin. So the wisdom is no longer getting into you to say, let me counteract the negative that you're doing. Let's put some balance in you. You know, they basically enjoyed the negative. They enjoyed the sin. They loved it. Because do we not all sin? Are we perfect? But are we all still here fighting? Right, because we're striving, right? We're striving against sin. Because we understand that we don't want to be the sinful creature. We don't want to be that sinful man. So every day we're waking up, going through the battle, jumping in the book, counteracting the sin, fighting against it. But at this time, they were like, man, we ain't doing that. We lazy as hell. We fat. We kicking. We chilling. We out of Egypt. We just going to do whatever the hell we want. We're going to murmur, talk crap. Even before that, Noah's time. We're going to party and drink. We're going to marry and drink. We're going to party, have sex, and drink. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Because why? Like we went over last night. In Genesis, sin is at your door. It's waiting for you. The problem was when that sin presented itself, they didn't say, look, let me fight it. They said, okay, I'm going to give into it.
Drawn away of your own lust.
They're drawn away of their, yeah, it's what they wanted. So that's why we're like that, because we want to. We don't want to do good. Most of us don't. That's why we still stuck in the conditions that we're in. So once you start letting that sin reign over you, watch this. Once you start letting that sin reign over you, go to no, that's Romans. Go to Romans. Go to Romans 6. Yes, Abadai.
Can we go back to just
Wisdom of Solomon?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just looked up the word malicious, and it just basically means like well, it says having or showing a desire to cause harm, or to be marked by, or malice, or both words come from the word malice for bad. So when the scripture talks about for into a malicious soul. So does that mean that that person desires to be bad?
Yeah.
You just want to be
bad. Because now the wisdom, that's why the wisdom can't get into you.
Okay.
Because this is the thing, that's why I use the analogy of us. We all sin. But do we not let wisdom enter to counteract the sins? Right, but see, this person, they're not doing that. They're like, nah, I don't want the wisdom. I'm just gonna sin. I'm gonna look for the sin. But how did it start? It started by saying, let me dibble and dabble over here a little bit. Let me stray out the way of understanding, and let me dibble and dabble in some of that sin. Let me see what it's like. Let me get tempted a little bit. Let me taste. Right? And like, damn, I like that. Let me do some more. It's like a gateway. It's like they say, what do they say? Alcohol is a gateway drug. Did they say alcohol is a gateway drug? Weed? Weed's a gateway drug, right? Smoke a little weed. As you know, you're doing a little coke. That ain't strong enough. You got to hit the heroin. Then you start hitting the alcohol. You're excessive with it. So they gatewayed into this maliciousness. You see that? Yeah. The wisdom was there, but then you said, a little less wisdom, a little more evil. A little less wisdom, a little more evil. So next thing you know, the evil to wisdom ratio starts to outweigh to the point where you're just a malicious animal. Now wisdom can't even get to you. Right. But see, go to Romans 6. Go to Romans 6. Go to Romans 6 and 12.
Romans chapter 6, verse 12.
Read verse 11.
Verse 11.
Uh-huh.
Likewise, reckon ye also yourselves to be dead indeed unto sin.
You're supposed to be dead to what?
Unto sin.
Sin is supposed to be dead to you. You're supposed to look at sin like, nah, you dead to me. You ever got that ex that she tormented your life? And what do you say? Nah, she trying to hit you up. Hey, babe. After years later, hey, babe. Da-da-da. Nah, you dead to me. I ain't messing with you. Right. Ain't that what they say in the world? She's dead to me. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to treat sin. Go ahead.
But alive unto God through Yahushua our Lord.
Go ahead.
Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body.
Yeah, sin is not supposed to have a place in your mortal. It's not supposed to reign. When you reign, you're in control. You're the king. Right? You're on the throne. It's the highest place. Sin shouldn't reign in your mortal body. It shouldn't take precedence over the wisdom. We all, like I said, we all sin and nobody perfect. But your sin, your wisdom and righteousness is supposed to outweigh the little sin that you do. Especially if you're learning and you're getting the knowledge. That's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to get better and better. Right? Go ahead.
That ye should obey it in the lust thereof.
Right. Because when it starts to reign and take control, when something reigns over you, what? It has control. You're now subject to it.
Right.
So sin is not supposed to get to the point where now you're obeying the sin. It's ruling you. Now you're just willfully sinning. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to go hit the weed, smoke the drugs, sleep with whoever I want to sleep with. That's not what's supposed to happen. The little sin that we do, you're supposed to be like, damn, okay, I messed up. How do I prevent that? Or, damn, that was done accidentally. You know, it shouldn't be this willful sinning. Like, I literally go out here and just start smoking. For instance, I'm up here coughing because the smoke from the frankincense and myrrh. I'm up here sounding like a chain smoker. Do I smoke? No. But the smoke went into my nostrils because the coals burned or something like that. And now I'm sitting here like, damn, I just inhaled the smoke. You know, but did I do it? Well, did I do it maliciously, intentionally? No. We burning the coals and the frankincense and the myrrh for the Sabbath ceremony. It just so happened it was burning so hot it burnt up all the frankincense and just made smoke. And it hit me and I'm like, damn. Feeling like I hit a Newport. You know what I'm saying? Getting that phlegm and that ratchy voice. That's what was happening. But I didn't willfully just go out here and just stick my nose to the frankincense and just, when it was all burnt up. You see what I'm saying? So it's about, you can't let sin take precedent. Go ahead, read verse 13.
Verse 13. Neither yield ye your members as instruments.
Right. You can't use your members as instruments of unrighteousness. How do you do that? How do you yield? Who knows how you yield your members of instruments of unrighteousness?
Using your body to commit the acts.
Yeah. What's that, Abadiah?
Well, I was gonna say, like, literally allowing your mind to focus on negative things. Like you wake up in the morning and your first thought is to go out and do something that you know is wrong.
Right.
Like you literally think on.
You dwell on it.
You dwell
yeah,
on
the
something.
sin took reign over you.
Right. You desire
Right.
to do.
So now you're like, I gotta go follow this. I gotta go follow my lust. Right. But no, but Jeremiah had it on point. You literally using your body.
Right.
Think about it. A hooker. She's using her body, her instruments to dwell in unrighteousness. Mm-hmm. Right? She's yielding her members as her body, her member. She's yielding it as an instrument of unrighteousness because it's unrighteous for a woman to sleep around with a bunch of men. Unto sin. That's what brings the sin. You do the unrighteous acts, that's what brings the sin. Go ahead.
Unto sin, but yield yourselves unto God.
But do what?
Yield yourselves unto God.
Go ahead.
As those that are alive from the dead.
Go ahead.
And your members as instruments of righteousness unto God.
Right. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be yielding ourselves as instruments of righteousness. We're supposed to be tools of righteousness, not tools of unrighteousness. We're not supposed to be we're not supposed to be the pimps, the drug dealers. We're not supposed to be out there using ourselves as money makers in an unrighteous way. You see that? So where we at? Jump back. Let's get back. We went from manna. We went from manna to well, no, it was all in there with the manna, because he asked a question: why were they like that? Yeah, because they started yielding themselves to unrighteousness. John, they started yielding themselves little by little to faithlessness.
Who was that? We stopped at Deut 8:4.
Yeah, okay. Jump back. Yeah, so jump back. Let's jump back to the reading. But y'all get that about the manna? It's good to know. And then you understand that, John, about your question? Come. Go back to Deuteronomy 8:4. You're gonna end at 6. You ready?
Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 4. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as a man chastises his son, so the Lord thy God chastises thee.
Go ahead. No, read verse 6.
Therefore, thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways and to fear him.
All right. Any one of y'all brothers come up. Oh. This. You got it. It's like a baby horn. It's like a baby ram. It sounds like a dying ram when I do it. Come over right here. Step up. I got to get better at that. It's a technique that I don't have yet. You know what to say when you get up here? No? So you're going to say it? I'll walk you through it. So you say, John?
John.
Shabbat to Shaul.
Shabbat to Shaul.
So that's John, tribe of, right?
John, Shabbat to Shaul.
What tribe are you from?
Judah.
So Yahwadah.
Yahwadah.
Bun.
Bun.
Yasha'Allah.
Yasha'Allah.
So you say John, tribe of Judah of Israel.
Son of Israel.
Okay.
Right. Son of Israel.
Okay. John.
Shabbat to Shaul. Yahwadah.
Bun. Yasha'Allah.
That's it. Amajim?
No, you said.
Oh,
You said.
John, Shabbat to Shaul, Bun, Yahwadah, Bun, Yasha'Allah. Amajim? Barak, and then you salute us.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Rakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Rakatah. Then what's up? And he's going to step down, and then you're going to step up and then read. Get up here. I'll read Deuteronomy. So we got 5, do the extra, and I might do the extra. Oh, yes, sir. So you're going to start at Deuteronomy 8:7 to Deuteronomy 9:7.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 7. For the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks and water, a foundation and depths that spring out of the valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of oil, olive and honey, a land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Scarceness.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not lack anything in it. A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass. When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless the Lord thy God for the good land which he hath given thee. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, in not keeping his commandments, and his judgments, and his statutes, which I command thee this day. Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses, and dwelt therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thy heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint, who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee to do good at the latter end.
See, he was trying to prove our faith. He was trying to prove our diligence and our commitment. The Most High was trying to see who's going to want to run back to Egypt. And a lot of them wanted to. A lot of them was complaining like we was better off in Egypt because we had food, water, shelter. We had this, we had that. We had to deal with no drought, no snakes. The Most High said it. He did it so he can humble you and prove you, prove your worth, prove your faith, prove your diligence, prove your alliance. Most High said, prove a friend, right? He was proving us. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
And thou say in thy heart, my power and my might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth.
Right, because that's what we do. That's what we do from this day to that day. That's what we do, man. We believe that we're the ones that control everything. I woke me up in the morning. No, you didn't. I got me my job.
I got me this car.
I got me this car. I'm the one that provides for me. I'm doing it. We forget to give the reverence and the grace to the Most High. We forget to give the glory to the Most High that he's the one that woke your ass up in the morning. He's the one that put the spirit on you to get out there and do what you got to do. He's the one that gave you that drive and that motivation. Without the Most High putting the spirit in you, what would you be? So that's why he said it. Now say in thine heart, in your mind. Because you got some that, oh yeah, glory to God, but even in their mind, they're like, I'm the one that's doing this. You see that? So we got to be careful that we don't fall into this. Because that's dangerous territory also. You take the glory from the Most High, look what happened to Moses. Right? Moses didn't get to see the promised land because he took the glory from the Most High. Go ahead.
I did that before.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth.
He did what?
For it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth.
He gave you the power to get wealth. He the one that put the strength in you. He the one that put the mind in you. He the one that developed that business plan that you got to go get your business. That was the Most High. He the one that gave you the idea. He the one that sent that man to plant that seed. See, we got to realize these things. Go ahead.
That he may establish his covenant, which he swore unto thy fathers, as it is this day. And it shall be, if thou do all forget the Lord thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify you this day that ye shall surely perish. And the,
Go ahead.
And the nations which the Lord destroyeth before your face.
He said, as the nations which the Lord destroyed before your face. So all the things that happened to Egypt, they were going to happen to you. See, you got to see everything from Deuteronomy 1 all the way to Deuteronomy 28 was a warning. He was like, look, I'm going to warn y'all for like 30 chapters on what not to do. I'm going to give y'all these curses. But I'm going to warn you, this is what you don't do. This is what you do. It was all a warning to let us know it's real.
It's real in Israel.
It's real in Israel. He was warning us, man. But we didn't listen. Go ahead.
Because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of the Lord your God. Chapter 9.
Read it to verse 7. Go ahead.
Hear, O Israel, that art to pass over Jordan this day, to go in to possess the nations, greater and mightier than thyself, cities great and fenced up to heaven, a people great and tall, the children of Anakims, whom thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard say, who can stand before the children of Anak?
Which are the Canaanites. So we were supposed to go into the land of Canaan, crush them, wipe them out, kill them, don't make no marriages with them, destroy everything. When the Most High said everything, he meant everything. Even the cattle. You wasn't supposed to let a dog breathe. Right? What do we do? What do we do? Nah. We got to have mercy on them. We got to have mercy on them. We got to marry them. We got to take them as wives. We got to give our sons to them. And look where we at.
Went after their own lust.
Right. Next thing you know, next thing you know, you a hotel. Next thing you know, you think you come out of Egypt.
Wow.
All of a sudden, you worshiping a God with a dog head and a woman's body. Come on. This is what the Most High was trying to avoid us getting into, but hard-headed, stiff-necked people running after your own lust, faithless generation, you're going to follow what you can see. Go ahead, read on.
Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 3. Understand therefore this day that the Lord thy God is he which goeth over before thee as a consuming fire. He shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly.
So you got to think about it. All we had to do was go on the land and do what the Most High said, and he was going to finish it up. He said, I'm going to be the one to destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as the Lord hath said unto thee. Read verse 4.
Verse 4. Speak not thou in thine heart, after the Lord thy God has cast them out from before thee, saying, for my righteousness the Lord hath brought me into possess this land. But for the wickedness of these nations, of the Lord doeth drive them out from before thee. Not for thy righteousness or for the uprightness of thine heart doest thou go to possess their land. But for the wickedness of these nations, the Lord thy God doeth drive them out from before thee.
You see that? So the Most High was saying, not because you were righteous, but because they were wicked as hell. I'm trying to cleanse the land of the wickedness. So it showed you. That's why he told us not to marry them, not to be with them, not to follow their gods, their customs, because it was all wickedness. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but you know how afterwards, after when Joshua went in, and they still feared what they had did in Egypt, what had happened in Egypt, and that was what 40 years later. How much more was the fear on them right now if they would have just went in and did what the Most High had told them to do?
Right.
Like,
yeah, because it was fresh in their mind.
It was fresh in their minds.
Yeah, it was fresh. But even then, going back, think about it was fresh in their minds, and they were still sitting there faithless as hell.
Gone.
They were still murmuring.
Gone.
They were still like, man, we know you parted the Red Sea like an hour ago, but now we hungry. Now we hungry. Where's the food? Let's go back to Egypt.
All right.
An hour in, and you want to turn back to Egypt. So they seen it. Yes, it was fresh in their minds, but that faithlessness, that's why the Bible says anything that's done not in faith is of sin, because it makes you forget all the righteous things that are done. Now you don't even care. You just worried about your own agenda.
Right.
So yeah, 40 years later, but when it was fresh in their mind, they still were on that same mind of, we don't believe it. We don't want to be here.
So I have a question. So does that mean, like, if we, when you just said when we do things out of, when we just said
faithless,
we do things out of faithlessness, then it's sin?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. But what is doubt?
Faithlessness.
Right.
So
Go to Romans. Go to Romans 14 and 23 real quick. What were we gonna say, Abadiah?
So if you're here and you're learning this and you've been here for a while and you're doing things, but you don't have a deep understanding, but you're just doing it.
Well, that doesn't mean that you're doubting. That means you're rolling in faith.
Okay.
But there's a difference. You could. Let's use the person that just got here.
Okay.
And they come in. You know, they got their regular clothes on, and then they sit down. And then we end class. It's like rise and face the east, and they're not used to doing that. They're like, rise and face the east. Well, I'll just do it. They turn their face to east. We explain why we do it. They say, okay. So they moved in faith.
Right.
Then they come back and you see them with their fringes on. You're like, damn, they got their fringes on. They don't know why they're doing it. They're just moving in faith. Right. So they may not understand, but they're still doing it. What are they doing it out of? They're doing things out of faith. But see, you got the people that have been here, and it's like, okay, we're gonna make this move, and it's like, that ain't gonna work. Or why are we doing it like that? Or how come? Or how come this? Or how come that? That's the doubt. You get it? You sure?
Yeah, but what about if you just do it then? What if you
It's about doing it without questioning in your mind.
Okay.
Because that's where it is. It's in your mind. That's where doubt comes, right? Doubt doesn't come in an action. It comes in your mind first, then it comes through your actions. Like when Peter was walking on water, he was walking, right? Why was he able to walk? He was moving on faith. He was just doing it. He wasn't thinking. Then as soon as he thought, he started to doubt. He lost the faith and he started to doubt, and then he started to sink. Right? He started to sink. So you can do things and move in faith. When you move in faith, you ain't really thinking about that I can't do something. You're thinking about, yeah, let's go do it. That's what I love about Kazak. Kazak's like, man, let's go do it. Oh, Trinidad, let's do it. He ain't thinking about what negative possibilities are going to happen. He ain't thinking about who might show up and who might not be there. He ain't thinking about what negative is going to happen. He might be later on as you're there, you're like, oh, okay, that could happen. Let's prepare for it. He's not just moving foolishly, but he's not saying, okay, well, it's a 6-hour flight. I don't know if I can do that. He ain't saying, well, it's a little ass island. Ain't nobody gonna want to hear the word. It's like this amount of people, they already heard it. He's not thinking on that. He's thinking on, they ready, let's do it. You see that? We're gonna move in faith. We're gonna move, they're ready, let's go out there and teach them. and then let's see what happens.
So that doubt is sin.
Go to Romans 14 and 23.
Romans chapter 14, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
And he that doeth is Salah. And he that doubteth is damned if he eat, because he eateth not of faith.
Right.
For whosoever is not of faith is sin.
Or whatsoever is not of faith is sin. Because doubt is sin. Having that doubtful mind. Because what does doubt breed? Doubt is another breathing ground for what?
Spirits.
Yeah, but what type of spirits? Right?
Like evil spirits?
Yeah, we know they're evil. Well, what? Give me a specific.
Cowardly.
That's one.
Being deceitful.
That's another.
Unwillingness.
That's another. See what doubt will breed into a man that I feel, I can't do it. So like we talked about last night, isolation. You isolate yourself. I don't know if I can hang with the program, so I'm gonna go over here while y'all do that.
Right.
Doubt breeds slothfulness, laziness. So because now you're putting yourself in the realm of I can't do something or I can't complete something. So guess what? Now I'm just not gonna do it. Instead of saying, let's go make it happen. It's like when we in the mall. We set a daily goal. Every young bro that I'm with in the mall, I'm like, what's the goal today? I let them pick the goal. If a brother say 500, I'm like, Con, let's do it. It never enters my mind like, well, today is Tuesday, we can't do that.
Right.
It never enters my mind. Because as soon as I say, damn, it's Tuesday, the mall is going to be a little bit slower, there's nobody in here right now, it's raining outside, and come up with all these excuses, you leave out the mall with zero. Because you let all the excuses. That's why the Bible says a sinful man will find an excuse for every occasion. Somebody get that one. That's in Ecclesiastes. Because excuses, a sinful man is going to find excuses. Why? Because he wants to have a reason to not do something. He wants to have a reason to not put forth the effort. You see what you see how how it goes into it? See, it's just scratching the surface, but as you dig deeper into it, you see like, damn, doubt is sin. Because now a man that's doubting, he's full of excuses. Right? Let's get that real quick. Yeah, I believe so. That's where we at? Yeah, Ecclesiastes 32 and 17. There it is. Yeah, Ecclesiastes 32 and verse 17. I quoted it very terribly wrong.
Ecclesiastes chapter 32 verse 17.
Go ahead.
A sinful man will not be reproved.
What? A sinful man is not going to want to hear any correction. He's not going to want to be told, yo, we can do something. Or change your way of thinking. Why? Go ahead.
But findeth an excuse.
This is what he does. He finds an excuse. Go ahead.
According to his will.
Yeah, according to his own thoughts. According to the way he wants things to be. According to his laziness. That's the thing. According to his unwillingness. According to where he wants to be isolated. According to all the negative that's in his mind. So, again, if I'm in the mall with a brother and I say, all right, what's the goal for today? And he's like, 1,000. I'm like, Con, let's do it. Because my will is to get as much as we can. That's where my head is. So if he shoots it out there, I'm like, Con. Because it's all attainable. It's attainable. We can do it because I know we can do it. You see, but if I say, this nigga's tripping, 1,000. What the hell is he talking about? I'm tired. My feet hurt. I was up late last night. He putting together a class. I was doing this. I've been in here for 5 days straight. If I come with all that, the Most High is not going to bless that. You see? So that's where the doubt is going to breed sin. It's going to breed that laziness, that is going to breed these negative things in a man's mind. Where were we at? Oh, go back to
Romans 14 and 20.
no, we read that. Go back to Deuteronomy. We had Deuteronomy 8, we had Deuteronomy 9. Yeah.
Latter part of 5.
Go ahead, John.
Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 5, the latter part. It says, and that he may perform the word which the Lord swore unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Verse 6, understand therefore that the Lord thy God giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people.
Go ahead.
Remember, and forget not, how thou provokest the Lord thy God to wrath in the wilderness.
Yeah, because when he was providing you manna and parting the Red Sea and doing all these things, he was still sitting there murmuring, backbiting on Moses, trying to challenge Moses. You stiff-necked, you hard-headed, you was being rebellious. It's no different when a person learns the truth. They learn the truth, and they want to they want to try to break down all the doctrine they've been taught. They want to go against the teaching. No, that ain't right. It's like, bro, who made you the elder?
Right.
Who made you Moses? Who put you in the position of leadership? But it's that stiff-neckedness, it's that rebelliousness. That's where we start to provoke the Most High. That's where we start to unleash the Most High's wrath upon us. Go ahead. Was that it? Was that 7? Go ahead.
From the day that thou didst depart out of the land of Egypt, until ye came unto this place, ye have been rebellious against the Lord. Verse 8.
That's it. That's it on. So we go to the next reader. Yeah, next reader. Jeremiah. Are you gonna read, brother?
I can.
Yeah, definitely.
Yahweh, Shabbat Shaw.
Yep.
Jeremiah, Shabbat Shaw. Yahweh, Bon Yashral.
Jeremiah, Shabbat Shaw, Yahweh, Bon Yasha'Allah. Imagine. Barak.
Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shabbat Rakatah.
Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shabbat Rakatah. Give him a time. You want to do Deuteronomy 9 and 8 to 9 and 28.
Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 8. Also in Horeb, ye provoked the Lord to wrath.
Use that mic so that way the people online can hear you. It's on. Flip the switch on me. Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 9 and verse 8. Also in Horeb, ye provoked the Lord to wrath, so that the Lord was angry with you to have destroyed you. When I was gone up into the mount to receive the tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant which the Lord made with you, then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink water. And the Lord delivered unto me 2 tables of stone, written with the finger of God. And on them was written according to all the words which the Lord spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days and 40 nights that the Lord gave me the 2 tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant.
Yeah, which consisted of all the laws. 2 stones, 10 commandments. Think about it. Did it take 40 days to get 10 commandments?
Lie.
Right. He's telling us right here. The 2 tables of stones, even the tables of the covenant. But people have a misconception that Moses was up there for like an hour, got 2 stones and came down. Nah, he was up there for 40 days and 40 nights. He was, it wasn't just this that he was getting. He was getting, listen, Moses was getting the beginning and the end. Moses was getting the creation and the end. That's how you're able to go into Ezra. Ezra tells you about creation. Was Ezra there with Moses?
Lie.
You see that? But it was handed down. So Moses was getting the beginning. Christ was showing him everything. Christ was showing him the beginning of everything and the end of everything. And then he was giving him the law. So he was giving him the understanding of everything. It took 40 days and 40 nights. It didn't. Why would it take 40 days and 40 nights to get 2 tables? 2 tables of stone. So you gotta look at that too. Moses was endowed with the wisdom. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 9 and verse 12. And the Lord said unto me, Arise, get thee down quickly from hence. For thy people which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten image. Furthermore, the Lord spake unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Let me alone, that I may destroy them, and blot out their name from under heaven. And I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mountain, and the mount burned with fire, and the 2 tables of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I looked, and behold, ye had sinned against the Lord your God, and had made you a molten calf.
So basically when Moses was up on the mount for the 40 days and 40 nights, what was Israel doing?
Making a new image.
Making new image, celebrating other gods. They was just wicked as hell. They fell into that wickedness. It just it shows you that our people were like little children, man. They had to be watched every moment. As soon as you took your eye off of them, it was like they gonna dabble off into some wickedness.
Right.
Which when you're supposed to have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you're supposed to be able to be left alone, to be able to carry on what's been shown to you. But our people were so wicked, stiff-necked, disgruntled, they were like, man, Moses ain't around, ain't nobody gonna check us, so we're gonna do our own thing. Gather all your earrings, nose rings, let's melt them down, let's make a calf. You see that? Go ahead.
Ye had turned aside quickly out of the way which the Lord had commanded you. And I took the 2 tables and cast them out of my 2 hands and brake them before your eyes. And I fell down before the Most High, as at the first 40 days and 40 nights. I did neither eat bread nor drink water, because of all your sins, which ye sinned, in doing wickedly in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. For I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure wherewith the Lord was wroth against you, to destroy you.
You see the mind of Moses? Moses was like, man, I was up there fasting 40 days and 40 nights for your wicked ass. Excuse my language. He was up there fasting for us, for the people. He was a true leader. You got these leaders, they won't even give you $1. They show up because it's time for them to get paid. But Moses was like, listen, man, I was scared of the Most High for me and for you. I didn't want to see none of his hot displeasure. So I made sure I fasted, prayed, did what I had to do to make sure the Most High didn't destroy you. I mean, you got to see it when you read up. The Most High was ready to make a nation out of Moses. You see that? He was ready to make a whole new nation out of Moses' lineage.
A mighty nation.
A mighty nation. He could have did it. But Moses was like, nah, don't do it. I'm going to fast. I'm going to pray. We're going to get it right. That was a true leader. You got to look at our leaders today. They're not on this, man. They're all about self. Moses wasn't about self. He was about the people. He was a man of the people. Go ahead.
But the Lord hearkened unto me at that time also. And the Lord was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him. And I prayed for Aaron also the same time. And I took your sin, the calf which ye had made, and burnt it with fire, and stamped it, and ground it very, very small, even until it was as small as dust. And I cast the dust, therefore, thereof into the brook that descended out of the mount. And at Tibur, and at Massah, and at Kibroth Hattaavah, ye provoked the Lord to wrath. Likewise, when the Lord sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, Go up and possess the land which I have given you, then ye rebelled against the commandment of the Lord your God, and ye believed him not, nor hearkened to his voice. Ye have been rebellious against the Lord from the day that I knew you. Thus I fell down before the Lord 40 days and 40 nights, as I fell down at the first, because the Lord had said he would destroy you. I prayed therefore unto the Lord, and said, O Lord God, destroy not the people and thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed through thy greatness, which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember thy servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Look not unto the stubbornness of this people, nor to their wickedness, nor to their sin. Lest the land whence thou broughtest us out say, because the Lord was not able to bring them into the land which he promised them, and because he hated them, he had brought them out to slay them in the wilderness.
That's the end of verse 28.
God.
There was a question online, right? I'm not going to go into any revelations. Well, what was the question?
Question is, when the Antichrist be revealed, will we see him and know him?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Go ahead.
And number two, and what's the September 23, 2017 has to do with the Bible, Revelations 12 and 13?
The second part of the question, I got to look into that. As far as the Antichrist, she said, will we know him and see him? He said, will we know him and see him?
Yeah, he says, will he be flesh?
Of course. Go to first go to 1 John. I want to get this. We're gonna go to go to 1 John chapter 1 and verse 22. You got it? 1 John 2. 1 John 2 and 22. I'm sorry.
1 John
Uh-huh.
chapter 2 and verse 22.
Go ahead.
Who is a liar,
Uh-huh.
but he that denieth that Jesus is the Christ?
Right. So for somebody to deny something, they have to like, I don't believe it, right? They have to be in the flesh. That's one. Go ahead.
He is Antichrist.
He is what?
Antichrist.
Yeah, so a person that denies Christ, because anti just means you're against. There's a lot of things that are against Christ. Right?
Con.
The world is anti-Christ.
Con.
The whole entire world. That's why Christ came back and said, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world." Because if you love the world, the love of the Father is not in you. So the entire world is against Christ. The U.S. government, the politicians, your local rap artists, your grandma that ain't teaching you the truth is against Christ. And this is how you know, because when you say, you know, Christ was black, right? No, he wasn't. Not my Jesus.
That's what I was thinking.
You know when you say, Grandma, you know you should put down that pork chop. Boy, we need the pig. The pig saved us during slavery. We got to keep eating it. They're against Christ.
Yeah.
So we got to stop looking at the Antichrist as some mystical thing. Yes, it's many things. Any doctrine that goes against the Bible, any doctrine that goes against the Hebrew Israelite teaching of the Bible is Antichrist. Christians are Antichrist because they say one thing and do another. Are all Christians? No. Some Christians actually know what's up. But for the most part, they're Antichrist. Go to 1 John 2:18.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 18.
Uh-huh.
Little children, it is the last time.
Right.
And as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come.
Right. So we know that the Antichrist is going to come in the last days. Right. All these different things that go against Yahushua. All these different doctrines, all these different teachings, all these different philosophies. Governments rising up to build their nuclear weapons to fight Christ when he comes. They ain't trying to fight. Come on, man. They're trying to build nuclear weapons to fight angels. You fools.
They read the Bible. They know.
Yeah, because they know the mysteries of the Bible. They know what's up. They're building weapons to fight Christ and the angels when they come. And to fight against us. They know we're going to get that power when Christ comes to just rip through this earth.
Right.
But the Antichrist, your Benny Hinn's, your Joel Osteens, your T.D. Snakes, Creflo Dollar, all these cats, man, all these preachers and pastors, they're Antichrist. Because they're not teaching you of Christ. They're not teaching you that Christ was black. They teach you that he was just a rainbow. That he was just, some people say he wasn't even a real man. That's why Christ himself came back and said, listen, nah. If they're teaching you that I didn't even exist, they're Antichrist. They're going against. Go to, where you at?
First John chapter 2 and verse 18.
Read on.
Precept. Even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time.
That's how we know it's the last time. Go to 2 John 1 and 7.
2 John chapter 1 and verse 7. For many deceivers are entered into the world.
Okay, so many deceivers have entered into the world. Somebody else get me Revelations 12 and 9. Who deceives the world?
The devil. Esau.
Revelation chapter 12 verse 9.
Read it.
And the great dragon was cast out.
Go ahead.
That old serpent called the devil.
He was called what?
The devil.
Go ahead.
And Satan, which deceiveth the whole world.
What did he do?
Deceiveth the whole world.
Read where you at, Jeremiah.
For many deceivers.
So many Satans, many devils, many serpents
are entered into the world.
Right? So that means they're here. They've already entered. So yes, this man is in the flesh. Satan is in the flesh. Go ahead.
Who confess not that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh.
Because you hear that. You hear that from our own people. Christ ain't real. I don't believe in Christ. He was just a mystical figure. You Old Testament Hebrews. This is talking about y'all. Well, you don't believe in Christ, you don't believe in Paul, you fake Jews, you Ashkenaz, Torah only.
Right.
This is y'all. Go ahead.
This is a deceiver.
He's a what?
Deceiver.
Go ahead.
And an antichrist.
Yeah, it's all one and the same. That old serpent, that great dragon, the devil, who deceived the whole world. He's an antichrist. Because his whole mission was to pull you away from Christ. His whole mission was to show you that Christ didn't exist. He ain't real. I got the proof. I got the evidence.
Right.
But we got the proof and evidence that he was real. We live it. That's the proof. The Bible said it, and then we live it. Do we not?
Fine.
All right, so that was the answer to that. Hopefully that answered your question. If you got any more, just shoot them through. Let's get back to the reading. Just want to answer that in the middle. What's that? Oh, you finished? You ready? You got the bones popping?
My first time up, so you gotta like walk me through it.
It's all good. We got you. Give me your name one more time.
Henry.
Henry. I was going to call you Herbert. I don't know why I would do that. It's my grandpa's name.
It's all good.
Henry. So you're going to say Henry?
Henry.
Shabbat Tashal.
Shabbat Tashal.
You tribe of Judah, right?
Tribe of Judah.
Okay, so Henry.
Henry.
Shabbat Tashal.
Shabbat Tashal.
Yahawada.
Yahawada.
Bun.
Bun.
Yasha'Allah.
Yasha'Allah.
Right. So try to see if you can do it on your own. Henry.
Henry.
Shabbat Tashal.
Tashal.
Shabbat Tashal.
Shabbat Tashal.
Yahawada.
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 Bun.
Bun.
Yasha'Allah.
Yasha'Allah.
Henry, Shabbat Tashal, Yahawada, Bun, Yasha'Allah. Imagine. Barak. And then you're going to salute Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Thumb.
Yahweh.
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 Ba'Hashem.
Ba'Hashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Barak Thumb.
Barak Thumb.
Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Thumb. Give him a tap. Then you're going to come on up. This brother's going to go down. It's supposed to be Shai, Shai, Bun, Yahweh, Bun, Shai.
No, it's not 2 months.
Because you're saying the tribe of Israel. Henry, are you saying it's Partazat? Yeah. We'll figure it out. Okay, so you're going to read. Where did we end? We ended at 9 and 28. Okay, so you're going to start at Deuteronomy chapter 9 and verse 29. And you're going to read to Deuteronomy 10 and 20. I'll tell you when to stop. But yeah, read Deuteronomy 9 and verse 29 and to start reading. You read into the mic so they can hear you online.
First I want to say I'm thankful and grateful by the privilege to be here, sitting here with the priests and facing the class and reading to everyone. So if you have any questions, will you please direct them to the priest, because I'm not sure if I really understand what exactly I'm reading. I don't know the Bible that well. So.
No, we got you. Yeah, you do the reading, we'll answer the questions. All right? All right, read into the mic, that way they can hear you online. Deuteronomy 9 and verse 29.
Deuteronomy 9 verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they are thy people and thy inheritance, which thou broughtest out by the mighty power and by the stretched out arm. Chapter 10.
Go ahead.
At that time the Lord said unto me, Hew thee 2 tablets of stone like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. And I will write on the tablets the words that were in the first tablet which thou breakest, and thou shalt put them in the ark. And I made an ark of the shittim wood, and hewed 2 tablets of stone like unto the first, and went unto the mount, having the 2 tablets in my hand.
So basically, when Moses had came down, and he saw, and when you read in chapter 9, we just read when Moses came down from the mount and saw Israel building the golden, worshiping the calf, he threw the tables down and he broke them. So now he came back with 2 new tables to get everything redone. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote on the tablets, according to the first writing, the 10 Commandments, which the Lord spoke unto you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of your assembly. And the Lord gave them unto me. And I turned myself and came down from the mount, and put the tablets in the ark which I had made, and there they be, as the Lord commanded me. And the children of Israel took their journey from Beeroth of the children of Jaachan to Mosera. There Aaron died, and there he was buried. And Eleazar his son ministered in the priest's office in his stead. From thence they journeyed unto Gotha, and from God water. At that time the Lord separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to stand before the Lord to minister unto him and to bless in his name unto this day. Wherefore Levi had no part nor inheritance with his brethren. The Lord is his inheritance, according as the Lord had 40 days and 40 nights. And the Lord hearkened unto me at that time also, and the Lord would not destroy them. And the Lord said unto me, Arise, take thy journey before the people, do what the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord, the commandments of the Lord, and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heavens and the heavens of the heavens is the Lord's thy God. Only the Lord hath his delight in thy fathers to learn them, and he choose their seed after them, even you above all people, as it is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For the Lord your God is God of gods, and the Lord regardeth not person, nor taketh reward. He do execute the judgment of the fatherless and the widow, and love the stranger, and give his food and raiment. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave, and swear by his name.
All right.
He is thy
No,
praise.
that's it on that.
That's it.
Yeah. Man, these people online just don't want to stop. Any questions on that so far? Okay. So, where we at? Deuteronomy 10 and 21.
Come. Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 21. He is thy praise, and he is thy God, that hath done for thee these great and terrible things, which thine eyes have seen. 22. Thy fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons, and now the Lord thy God hath made thee as the stars of heaven for a multitude. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 1. Therefore thou shalt love the Lord thy God, and keep his charge, and his statutes, and his judgments, and his commandments always. And know ye this day, for I speak not with your children, which have not known, and which have not seen the chastisement of the Lord your God. His greatness, his might, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arm. 3. And his miracles, and his acts, which he did
in the midst of Egypt unto Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and unto all his land. 4. And what he did unto the armies of Egypt, unto their horses, and unto their chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea to overflow them as they pursued after you, and how the Lord hath destroyed them unto this day. 5. And what he did unto you in the wilderness until ye came unto this place. 6. And what he did unto Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Elab, the sons of Reuben, how the earth opened up her mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and their tents, and all their substance that was in their possession, in the midst of all of Israel. 7. But your eyes have seen all the great acts of the Lord, which he did. 8. Therefore shall ye keep all the commandments which I command you this day, that ye may be strong, and go in and possess the land, whither ye go to possess it. 9. And that ye may prolong your days in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give unto them and to their seed, a land that floweth with milk and honey. 10. For the land whither thou goest in to possess it is not as the land of Egypt, from whence ye came out, where thou sowest thy seed and waterest it with thy foot as a garden of herbs. 11. But the land whither ye go to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven. 12. And the land which the Lord thy God careth for, the eyes of the Lord thy God are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even unto the end of the year. 13. And and it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command you this day, to love the Lord your God, to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul. 14. That I will give you the rain of your land in his due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thine oil. 15.
You read verse 20.
15. And I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. 16. Take heed to yourself, that your hearts be not deceived, and turn aside to serve other gods and worship them. 17. And then the Lord's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, and lest ye perish quickly from off the good land which the Lord giveth you. 18. Therefore shall ye lay up these words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. 19. And ye shall teach them, your children. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. 20. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house, and upon thy gates. You said the 20?
Yeah. Let's see. That was the fifth one, right?
This is going to 25.
Any questions so far? All right, so we have Deuteronomy 11 and 21. It says that your days may be multiplied and the days of your children in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them as the days of heaven upon earth. For if you shall diligently keep all these commandments which I commanded you to do them, to love the Lord your God and walk in all his ways, to cleave unto him, then will the Lord drive out all these nations from before you, and ye shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. Every place whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours. From the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even unto the uttermost sea shall your coast be. There shall no man be able to stand before you. For the Lord your God shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he hath said unto you. So now from there we go to Isaiah 49 and 14. Any questions on that Deuteronomy? Verse 25.
11 and 25. There shall no man be able to stand.
24. You kind of like, give it a little, make a little bit clear. I'm not sure what he meant by when he said every place up on the sole of your feet shall be yours.
So basically, okay, so if you go back up to,
Well, like Lebanon, what would Lebanon have to do with it?
well, he's naming these different places.
You got region.
He's naming that. He's just showing you that no matter where you go, no matter where you would be, you would possess that land. Because right now, here it is. What you looking at?
Trying to see it on the map, like where they were at.
But yeah, he was talking about in that region, that Middle Eastern region.
Oh, God.
Right.
I was just kind of wondering because, he would, get a name like Lebanon, and I was just kind of curious, like, what would Lebanon have to do with it?
Show you. See, a lot of times I like to look at maps. And it's hard to, it's not that hard to explain. Let's see. So when you look at where Lebanon is, in accordance to where they were, Lebanon is north of where they were. Okay, so Lebanon is north of Egypt.
Right.
They were. Can you see it?
Lebanon, and they were coming from Egypt, right? So they're going this area.
Right. So the Red Sea is in here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what got parted, the Red Sea. Right. Lebanon is up here. So he is saying, where does it show the Euphrates at?
That's Jordan. Right here.
Yeah, so he's saying basically from here, this is that land. This was that land of Canaan they were supposed to go into.
Oh,
So they were gonna. So when they went in there, they were gonna possess it. But that's why you got to read up. It said if they kept the commandments, they will possess this land, this region of land. You get that? Where we at? Isaiah 49. Yeah, it's good to look at maps to see, like, and have a good idea of where things are when they talk about it, now you could like place it in your mind through a map. So it's good to look at a lot of maps just to see where things are. Isaiah 49:14. It says, but Zion said, the Lord hath forsaken me, and my Lord hath forgotten me. Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on thy son of her womb? Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee. Behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hands. Thy walls are continually before me. So this was the mind state of us in the wilderness. Like the Most High forgot us. He ain't with us, but that's why he's coming back and saying, can a woman forget her child? No. He said, we're engraven upon the palms of my hands. And we're continually before him. So he was letting us know he hasn't forgotten us. He said, thy children shall make haste, thy destroyers, and they that made thee, ways shall go forth of thee. Lift up thine eyes round about, and behold, all these gather themselves together and come to thee. As I live, saith the Lord, thou shalt surely clothe thee with them all, as with an ornament, and bind them on thee as a bride doeth. For they waste and waste and thy desolate places, and the land of thy destruction shall even now be too narrow by the reason of inhabitants, and they that swallow thee up shall be far away. The children which thou shalt have after thou hast lost the other shall say again in thine ears, the place is too strait for me. Give place to me that I may dwell. Okay. Verse 21. Then shalt thou say in thine heart, who hath begotten me these? Who have begotten me these? Seeing I have lost my children, and am desolate and captive, and removing to and fro. Who hath brought up these? Behold, I was left alone. These were had they been. Thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will lift up mine hand to the Gentiles, and set up my standard to the people, that they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders. So he's talking about the nations bringing, they're going to be bringing their possessions, right? They're going to be bringing us children, right? And you read verse 23, watch this. And the kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face towards the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet, and thou shalt know that I am Lord. So he's basically going through and saying and showing them that even though you might have lost something, he's going to be the one to replenish it. He's going to be the one to give it back. When you lost a kid and you like, man, I got another one, who gave me that, or where'd it come from? This is what he's showing. The Most High is going to be the one to restore you. It's just like going back into, because you got to link all the stories in. When we're reading it, you got to link that Deuteronomy to this Isaiah. I'm the one that pulled you out of captivity. I'm the one that put you in the position to be hungry, but then I'm the one that gave you the manna. What's your question?
20. Verse 14.
Verse what?
Verse. Why Zion and who is Zion?
It's another word they use for the children of Israel, Zion. Yeah, what Zion said, or Israel said. He could have said, or Israel said, or Jerusalem said.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just another word they use in place of. It's talking about Israel, though. Yeah.
Fine.
Where are we at? Verse 20. Verse 24. Shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered? But thus saith the Lord, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contended with thee, and I will save thy children. So the Most High saying he gonna fight for us, man. And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine, or new wine. And all flesh shall know that I, the Lord, am the Savior, and thy Redeemer, and the mighty one of Jacob. Jacob being the forefather of Israel. Yes, sir.
You see, I will.
What verse?
26. And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh. So, I mean, like literally making them eat them. Like
they're gonna devour themselves. Yeah, they're gonna think about it. Think about what's going on with, because he's talking about the Gentiles, right? You see what's going on with Trump and Korea, how the fighting, they're gonna implode on each other, and we're gonna be pulled out of that. You see that? So literally no, but in the wars and the fighting, yes. You see that? They're gonna eat each other. They're gonna be drunken with blood, meaning they're gonna be killing. You see that? They're gonna be killing one another, and the Most High is gonna redeem us. He's gonna save us out of that. You get that?
God.
And we're over here getting the spirit. I love it. Let's see where we at. Verse Isaiah 50 and verse 1. We're gonna read this to verse 3. Thus saith the Lord, where is the bill of your mother's divorcement, whom I have put away? Whom I have put away, or which of my creditors is it to whom I have sold you? Behold, for your iniquities have ye sold yourselves, and for your transgressions is your mother put away. You see what the Most High is saying? When you reap what you sow.
You did it to
you. Did it to you. That's why when we street teach, who got time to yell at the white man? We know what the hell they did, but what about what you doing? Right. Black men, get up off your ass. We know that the white man enslaved us, but now you're on autopilot slavery. You're on wake up and be a slave mode.
Autopilot slavery.
You're on autopilot slavery where nobody has to tell you to be a slave. You just wake up and say, I'm going to be a slave to everything that's around me and not try to do anything positive. I'm going to be a slave to the weed, the drugs. I'm going to wake up at, what time is the liquor stores open?
10 o'clock.
So I'm going to wake up at 9 and be there at 9:59 to wait until they open.
I see that a lot.
Yeah, you lined up. How the hell you lined up at a liquor store? It ain't going nowhere. And they got a surplus. So what are you doing? But see, we're slaves to these things.
Right.
So this is what the Most High is showing us, man. Your iniquities, you have sold yourselves. You gave your own. You gave up your rights. You sold yourself, man, by yielding your members to the sin, like we went through earlier. You gave yourself up. Verse 2. Wherefore, when I come, was there no man? When I call, was there no answer? Is my hand shortened at all that I cannot redeem? Or have I no power to deliver?
Right.
Behold, at my rebuke, I dry up the sea. So you're saying, listen, don't I got the power to pull you out of any situation? He said, at my very voice, the sea dried up, the Red Sea. At me just thinking it, it happened. So would you think I can't pull you out of your condition? I can't make you a great nation? Right? I make the rivers a wilderness. their fish stinketh because there is no water, and dieth of thirst. I clothe the heavens with blackness. I make sackcloth their covering. The Most High was just, you know, the Most High like to flex that muscle. He like to display that power, right? But he got to remind us. He's constantly. And he surrounded us. My thought process went off. But yeah, the Most High was flexing his power, man. He always has to remind us of his greatness because for some reason we always forget. Henry.
Yeah, verse 3.
Uh-huh.
I cloth the heavens with blackness, and I make sackcloth their covering.
Mm-hmm.
Could you explain it to me, please?
I don't want to speak wrong on this. I'm gonna get back to you on that one.
Okay.
Let me see.
You know, that's the word. That's a good one there.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one. Oh, wait a minute. Give me a sec. Let's see. Where we at? Where did I read to? Verse 3?
Isaiah 3.
I said I'm going to read 2 of them, right? So I got to take this to 51 and 3. Let me check one thing. Hold on. Oh yeah. Go to Exodus 10 and 21. See, we got to remember. This is to answer your question. We got to remember that everything that he was talking about, it was. We got to relate a story back to what we read in Deuteronomy. What was he going through in Deuteronomy? He was talking about all the things that happened in Egypt, all the plagues, all the different miracles that happened. So, one of the 10 plagues was what? Darkness, right? So, when you go back to Isaiah 50 and verse 3, he said, I clothe the heavens with blackness and make sackcloth their covering. Now, when you go to Exodus 10 and 21, and the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand towards heaven, that there may be a darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. And Moses stretched forth his hand towards heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days.
And on that, in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17,
I was about to go there too.
It explains that darkness is.
I was just looking for my. I was just looking for my apocrypher. Oh yeah, it's cold, man. Oh shit. Verses. Yeah, when you go to Wisdom of Solomon 17, with Solomon, he goes into it. He basically breaks it down like how dark it really was. Man, I'm trying to find to the point.
26.
Is it 17?
17 and 26.
In Wisdom of Solomon? No, there is no 26. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 17? Where you at?
What page is that?
What page?
Oh, you said Wisdom's out.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Ecclesiastes.
Oh, I'm like,
17
I'm
26
like,
talking about the darkness, too.
what book you got?
Yeah, because they're talking about the darkness too, though.
Yeah, where at? Where you at?
17 and 26. He was comparing that darkness to their sin, though.
Yeah, no, that's not the one. That's not the one. It was one he was talking about. It was gross darkness. Chapter 17. I mean, the whole chapter you can hit. Yeah, you can actually hit the whole chapter. That's what it's talking about. So you can read that Wisdom of Solomon 17th chapter to get a look into what the darkness, how in depth the darkness was that the Most High put over Egypt. But yeah, the Isaiah 50:3, when he said, I made the heavens dark. That's what he was talking about. You got to remember, when we're going through the Old Testament, you have to relay it to what this New Testament, what the other scriptures are talking about. So the Most High was reminding us of all the different things, parting of the Red Sea. You mentioned that in Isaiah, right? Drying up the sea, all these different things. So he was just showing, Most High be flexing his muscles, man. He be flexing. He be like, but he has to. Why? Because we're rebellious and we're forgetful, we're faithless. So he always got to show us, like, look what I did. Not to brag and boast, but to remind you. Because we forget.
And to show who the true power actually
And show who the true power is. We forget who the true power is. We think that we did that.
Right.
They thought that Moses parted the Red Sea. He was like, nah, that wasn't me. So he gave the glory to the Most High because he knew it wasn't him. Even the plagues of Egypt. They're looking at Moses like, damn, who the hell is this guy? But then they had to come back and say, oh, that's the Most High. That's your God. You see? So, yeah, man. Let's jump. What's that?
And for the ones who like the Antichrist, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
But something modeled up, they stand with them doing Christ, but even Christ let them know, how you supposed to know back then. Like, you don't believe on Moses.
How you gonna believe on me? Right. Because Moses was dealing with me.
Right. And
Shalom.
For that gross darkness scripture, were you referring to Jeremiah 13 and 16?
I thought there was one in. I might be.
Isaiah 6 and 60 and 2, maybe?
Wait, you said 13 and
16?
I thought it said that in this. I thought it said that in the Apocrypha. I'll give you that. Jeremiah 13 and 6. Oh, I'm in 3. Wow. Yeah, man. No, I thought there was one. I thought it said it in Wisdom of Solomon, but I guess that's not it.
Gross darkness in Isaiah 60 and 2. Also.
I think the one that I was thinking of was the Exodus, where it said gross darkness that could be felt. I think that was we read it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you got to read that Wisdom of Solomon 17, though. It goes through it, breaks it down. Let's jump back. Isaiah 50 and 4. So I'm actually reading 2 parts. It's all good. Isaiah 50 and verse 4. The Lord God hath given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak in word and season to him that is weary. He walketh morning by morning. He walketh mine ear to hear as the learned. The Lord God hath opened mine ear, and I was not rebellious, neither turned away back. I gave my back to smiters, and my cheeks to them that plucked off the hair. I hid not my face from the shame and spitting. For the Lord God will help me. Therefore shall I not be confounded. Therefore have I set my face like a flint, and I know that I shall not be ashamed. He is near that justifieth me, who will Who will contend with me? Let us stand together. Who is my adversary? Let him come near to me. Behold, the Lord God will help me. Who is he that shall condemn me? Lo, they all shall wax old as a garment. The moth shall eat them up. Who is among you that feareth the Lord, that obeyeth the voice of his servant, that walketh in darkness and hath no light? Let him trust in the name of the Lord and stay upon his God. Stand on your square. And that is important, man, because the Most High is showing you when God is with you, who can be against you? It's just like Moses. The Most High was with him. Even though the people murmured and came up against him, what did he do? The Most High shut him down every time. He let Moses know, look, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. And since the Most High had Moses' back as one man, it was done. Y'all see that? Moses was one man. He was one man.
Yep.
With a multitude of people. They could have easily been like, nah, bro, we ain't doing that. They could have coup d'etat, right? They could have overthrew the government. Right. But not when the Most High is running the government. So this is what it's showing, man, that Moses had the Most High with him. If we have the Most High with us, who's going to contend with us? Who's going to go against us? Nobody. Verse 11. Behold, all ye that kindle a fire, that compass yourselves about with sparks, walk in the light of your fire, and the sparks that ye have kindled. This shall ye have of mine hand. Ye shall lie down in sorrow. We're taking this 51 and 3. Hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness. Ye that seek the Lord, look unto the rock whence you are hewn, and to the hole of the pit whence ye are digged. Look to Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bare you. For I called him alone, and blessed him, and increased him. So he's basically saying, look at where you came from. You came from righteousness. That's why they say, like, you don't know where you're going till you know where you're coming from. You gotta look back on the old paths, like we went over yesterday, right? You gotta ask your fathers, and they will teach you. So he's saying, look at where you came from. That's what the Most High is telling us. Look at where you came from. And look how I did your forefathers. Look how I blessed them because of their doings, because of their faith. Verse 3, for the Lord shall comfort Zion. He will comfort all her waste places. He will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody. So the Most High is saying, even the waste places of, even our most beat down, trodden places, if we do the things that are correct in His sight, He's gonna build us back up. It's in His power to do it. He ain't gonna let us be desolate forever. He ain't gonna let us just wander through the wilderness of America forever.
It's not our end.
It's not our end. This is not the end all be all. This conditions that we're in, it's not it. It's something greater. From there, go to Hebrews 11 and 8. So you see how it goes from, we always start in the first five, one of the first 5 books, then we jump into the Old Testament, or New Testament. That's how the reading goes. Hebrews 11. Oh, I love Hebrews 11. It's a dope chapter, man. Because what were we talking about earlier with the mammon? Faith, right? Why did they have to get the mammon and store it up? Because they were faithless. But that's why the Most High said in Isaiah, look at Abraham. He's basically saying, look at his faith. Look at what propelled him to this point. Look at Moses. Look at Noah. Look at all these great men. What is the one thing they had in common? Their faith in the Most High, their trust in the Lord. So we're going to start at Isaiah 11 and 8. Oh, excuse me, Hebrews 11 and 8. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should, after receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And when he went out, not knowing whether he went. You see that? He know where he was going. He know what he was doing. But what did he do? What we talked about earlier, Abadiah? Just doing it, right? He didn't question like, oh, well, how am I get there? When we leaving? He probably asked when we leaving. But he didn't question like, oh, am I able to do this thing? He just obeyed. He didn't doubt. He didn't let even the questions formulate in his head to build any seed of doubt. Because it just takes one little seed. He just obeyed. He just did it. Right? Where we at? Verse 9. By faith he sojourned in the land of the promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which had foundations, whose builder and maker is the Most High. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because they were old, right? When she was found with child, she was 90, 99. So she was past the age of any woman having given birth or conceiving. But what kept her? Her faith. Because she judged him faithful who had promised, because the Most High did promise it, right? He promised it, it's going to happen. Just because you think that, well, I'm 35, I'm supposed to have my baby. If I can't have a baby past 40, nah, Most High promised it. You have to wait till she was 90, in her 90s, right? Because the Most High's program, if he promised it, he's going to deliver. That's the thing. That's what he was trying to show. You just got to be patient.
And if you pay attention to the scriptures, but like especially the Old Testament, most time before any of them conceived, they never conceived in their 20s and 30s. They was always like 60 and older, 3 school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were a little bit older. They were more aged. Right. Yeah. Where we at? Verse 12. Taking this to 13. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead. So many as the stars of the sky in the multitude, as the sand which is by the sea shore innumerable. So you see that? It's basically saying through that conception, what happened? One sprang, but then that made the multitude. Ta-da! Here we are. Right? Ta-da! Yeah, because the promise was the nation would come from your seed, right? A large, strong nation. So that can't be numbered. So here it is, verse 13. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims in the earth. From there, Romans jumps around. Romans 8. We're going Romans 8 and 31 to 39. There it goes again. What shall we then say to these things? If the Most High be for us, who can be against us? It's a question. Nobody. He that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? So he's saying the Most High gave up his own son for us. He's going to use that same son to give us the world. Christ is going to come back and destroy this place and hand it to us. Christ is going to be the one to do that. Who shall lay anything to the charge of the Most High's elect? It is the Most High that justifieth. Who is he that condemneth? It is Christ that died, yea, rather, that is risen again, who is given at the right hand of God, who also maketh intercession for us. So we got to remember, it was always Christ making the intercession to the Most High to not destroy us in the wilderness, to not destroy us now. It's always Christ. Like, nah, Pops, I got him. Nah, let me handle it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta look at it. When you look at, you gotta look at the, you really look at Christ in depth. And you look at, he created us.
That's why I was saying.
Think about it. He created us to come down and be like us, to go back up to heaven, to come down and save us. You gotta think about that, man. He became one of his creations, but not in the way where he fell to the same things that we fall to the sin. But he created us. We messed up. He came down to show us that it could be done. So he lowered himself. He condescended to our lower estate of thinking, but still showed us that, nah, you ain't gotta live in sin, right? And now he's gonna have to come back and redeem us a second time because we don't listen. Have to redeem us again out of all this negative. You gotta really look at Christ's sacrifice. What creator wants to be the creature? Whoever did that, whoever said, you know what, I made you, but guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna condescend my mind to be just like you. Only great men do that, where they lower themselves to show you that something can be done. Y'all get that? Where we at? Verse 35. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? You know why this question? So when you read up, you know why this question is so important. What's up, Abadiah? Go ahead.
So just speaking right before we got to this, when you were just speaking, because that just what you just said just shows how much he truly loves us. That love is so great and so immeasurable. Like, it is so deep. Like, it's for real, for real.
To lower yourself to be
into the
us,
the intercession, like
and then be like,
he is like
the mediator,
everything, everything he does,
and then have to die. Think about it, and then you got to die at the hands of your creations.
Absolutely.
Think about that.
It's
cold.
It is.
And then for them same creations to be like, yeah, you never existed.
Yes.
You ain't never been here. That ain't never happened. You don't matter. Think about that. That's why the question is posed. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Because Christ never separated his love from us.
Never, ever, ever.
Y'all see that? He never ever did it. He always, everything he did was out of love.
Still.
Everything from creating us, from Egypt, when it said the Almighty Word hopped out of the sky, leaped out of heaven, excuse me, let me word it right, that Almighty Word leaped out of heaven and slain all the firstborn. Christ, he never separated his love for us. But somehow, and it's through our faithlessness though, through being faithless, a faithless people, a rebellious, stiff-necked, hard-headed people from the start, we separate ourselves from Christ. But that's why he comes back and asks, who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword. So we gotta look at all these different tests and obstacle courses that we get put through to test our love. It's no different than when they were in Egypt. They were put through tribulation, famine, right? They were getting killed. They were put through pestilence, all types of weird snakes and animals, right? All these things was testing their love to see what you gonna do, run back to Egypt, or you gonna run around this wilderness with us and suffer. Christ is right here. He's guiding us by day, guiding us by night. See, the sad part is they seen all this. Think about it, you see a fire in the middle of the night, and it's just following you around and guiding you. You know, like, what the hell? You got a cloud by day that's guiding you. You got manna. You got quail and bread.
Right.
and it's daily. Shouldn't you believe?
You would think so.
You would think so, right? You would think so, but then think about us. Who in here seen Christ? Who in here had it rain down manna? Who in here got a cloud by day and a fire by night guiding them anywhere? Literally.
That's why he said we blessed.
But that's why he said we blessed. Blessed of you that have not seen and believed. Because we see it. That, don't get me wrong. We see Christ every day. We see it through one another. We see it through the workings. We see it through the sacrifice. We see it through these things. We see it through the tribulation. When one man is in tribulation, another man can come up and ease his tribulation with whatever it is. We see it in the distress. When a brother is stressed out, wanting to strangle his rib, and it's like, nah, bro, let's rap, let's go out, let's do this, let's get a drink, let's study, right? We see it in when a man is being persecuted wrongly, and we got to come back and rebuke that persecution. We see it in the famine. A brother's hungry, you give him something to eat, something to drink. Nakedness, a brother needs some clothes. You got it. You don't got no garment, we got you. Right? Peril, sword. We see it in each other through all these things. We see Christ every day. We got the guide. We get the manna. We get it, man. We don't sometimes recognize it. The good things that the Most High rains on us, man, the wisdom that he rains on us, the knowledge. That's why he came back and said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceed out the mouth of the Father. So we get that manna every day. When you open this book, when a brother drops a good word on you, when you get that good hearty counsel, right? When you read through them chapters and you're like, damn, that's cold. That's that manna. So we see it, man. We get it every day. That's why the question is posed. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Because again, Christ has never separated his love from us. He's never taken the love away. Even by putting us around each other in the spirit of Christ, he's showing, look, the love is always here. The love is always here. It's up to you to continue in the love, in the charity, in the unity. It's up to you to push these things. That's how we separate when we say, nah, I don't want to be around, or I'm not going to do the charitable thing. When it dawns in your mind that a brother needs something, I got it, but I ain't going to give it to him. That's you separating yourself from the love of Christ. Because the love of Christ is to do these things. Verse 36, as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. See, in all these tribulations and distresses and persecutions, we are more than conquerors. We can overcome it. We do it through each other. That's what we got to remember. That's why it says, for thy sakes we are killed all the day long. We die every day for one another. We should be. Right? We should be putting off that old man, putting on that new man daily for one another. We got to remember that. Verse 38, for I am persuaded that neither death nor life. So no matter how good your life was, no matter how gruesome your death might be or you might think it is, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ our Lord. So he's saying, man, even an archangel couldn't fall down and be like, listen, man, forsake your brother. You shouldn't be able to. No man should be able to come in and say, or no woman should be able to come and say, man, forget them dudes. Don't deal with that Bible. Don't show that love. Don't show that charity. No principality should be able to come in and overrule what the Bible says about being there for your brother. Because this is the guidebook. This is the rule book on how to be there for your brother, your sister, your nation. What other book? Show me in the Quran where it talks about building a nation. And salvation is going to come through one another, through doing things for one another. The Quran is the get me right book. I'm going to get me right so I could die and go get 70 virgins. Right? Show me a book where it's about building one another in faith, in suffering. What's that?
That's what I liked about your class that you did last night about the isolation. Because it's so important when you, it was really good. Just like that spirit of isolation when you, if you can fight that.
Yeah.
And not, think that not being around.
It's not helpful.
It's not, because when you get into that mind state of not being around and isolating yourself, you kill all of this.
Yeah, because again, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Right? So if I'm trying to get to the kingdom, don't I gotta build it?
Yeah. You can't build it by yourself.
You can't, but if the kingdom of heaven is within this man, and we're gonna build up the walls of the kingdom, and there's things in this man, and I'm just saying a man, I'm not saying him in particular, but there's a building here, there's a tabernacle, we gotta build up the kingdom. The walls are a little bit beat down, they might need some patchwork, because we all have spiritual deficiencies, right? We all have things in our spirit that needs to be worked on. He might not recognize that. So what does it take? It takes a contractor to go in and say, oh yeah, we got to fix the plumbing, we got to patch the hole in the ceiling, we got to fix those cracked windows, we got to retile the floor, right? It takes another man to be able to say, look, this is the things we got to rebuild.
Put good things in that.
You got to put good things in that temple. You got to repolish the brass, all that. But it takes another man to do it. But that's what we forget. But the way it happens is through these things, through the trials and tribulations. A brother is built for adversity. You see, a brother is born through adversity, excuse me. So we got to see that through these things, through these perils and all this is where the love of Christ lays. It lays in these things through one another. But as soon as you let principalities, angels, other powers, things present or to come interrupt this is where you're separated. And so we gotta definitely we gotta remember that, man. It's we building a nation. We're trying to get back to that garden. I've been really in that I've been really in Genesis, man. I've been in Genesis 1, 2, and 3. And man, yeah, bro, it's crazy when you just break that down and you just look at what we had and what we gave it up for. And it's like, look at where we at now. It's like, you like, man, come on, bro, really? Damn it, Daniel. Damn it, Adam. Yeah, you just like, man. Yeah, that's what Ezra was saying. He was like, bruh, you done just gave it all up for this? Like, come on. Really? But that's why we got to come back and we got to not give up on one another, man. We got to not give up on the goal, on the mission. The mission is to build and to build one another and to strengthen one another. And we got to remember that. Like going back to the class, the doubting, you're doubting the man next to you. You doubt yourself, because if you can't do it, how can somebody else do it? The doubting, the faithlessness, the isolation, all these different things that we go through in our minds, it doesn't help one another. So we got to remember that. But let me see. Yeah, I'm about to look right now. Will Moss, your question, we're gonna hold off on that. We're gonna come back with that. I want to do a class on that. Cassie, yeah, I know the Bible says to read precept upon precept, line upon line, but should I read the whole Bible first, since I never have read the whole Bible? Yeah, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with reading the whole Bible from cover to cover. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, everyone should do that. You should do that. That's what truthfully, the way we read the Sabbath right now, we're actually going to be ending up reading from cover to cover. We're just breaking it up into portions to link link stories together, Old Testament, New Testament. But yeah, because I'm about to start that. I'm about to get back and read from cover to cover. You got to do that. You got to do that like once a year. It keeps things fresh in your mind. These stories. How many times you like, man, there's this one story I can't remember. You don't remember the stories because there's so much. You don't remember some things that David went through. You don't remember this name, that name. So yes.
Even listen to the audio Bible.
You can do it through the audio Bible. That's how I do it. I break it up. Audio Bible, I read. I like to read it though, because the audio Bible is dope. It's dope for when you're on the go. You're in the car, you can't read in the car. So I throw the audio Bible on. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with reading from cover to cover. You got to make sure though, that when you're doing that, like when we do that, I'm linking my precepts up with other precepts. Real quick, go to Isaiah, because we do got to show the importance of why we read precept upon precept. It's important. You got to understand. Go to Isaiah 28. Isaiah 28 verse 9. Because you can read cover to cover, and this is the problem where some people do fall into that stumbling block where they only read cover to cover and they don't think to understand, like, damn, this links up with this. Something in Genesis is going to link up with something in Revelations. His eye, and his eyes were red with wine. That's in Revelation. Speaking about Christ. You got to jump to Genesis 49:12 to understand why his eyes were red. Why his eyes were a flame of fire. Was he shooting fire?
Wow.
No, his eyes shall be red with wine, teeth white with milk. Right? What's that?
And just like what you saying, before I had came to the truth, I ain't get handed no fly. I came to the truth from actually reading the scripture. Okay. And like, I didn't want to stop when y'all was reading Deuteronomy when we was talking about how we was stiff-necked people. Yeah. That's when I found out that it was us before I challenged my pastor. But when I was reading from cover to cover, it's like certain things the Most High had allowed me to like grasp and understand. Certain stuff was still blocked. And then like the more I was diligently seeking after him, like reading his word, then that's when I was led. I was like, let me get online and see if there's somebody else out here other than myself. Right. So when I started looking up, okay, Israelites, this, and that. And then like when I started learning about like how what you finna read now, that's what brought the understanding, like show you mysteries of the word. Oh well, look, go to Psalms 119 and 28 real quick. Hold where you at. Go to Psalms 119 and 28. Salakia, 119 and 104. Psalms 119 and verse 104.
Psalm chapter 119, verse 104.
Right, so reading the Bible cover to cover, there's nothing wrong with that. But we got to understand why we go precept upon precept, line upon line. Read that.
Through thy precepts I get understanding.
What happens?
Through thy precepts I get understanding.
Right. This is how we get the understanding of the Bible. This is how we unlock the mystery. This is how we understand that when you read it with Genesis, chapter 1, 2, and 3, it's dealing with symbolism. This is how you unlock the symbolism of the Bible. This is how you unlock the prophecy of the Bible. Through thy precepts, you get the understanding. Now go to Isaiah 8 and 9. 28 and 9.
Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
Whom shall he teach knowledge?
It's a question. Who is going to be taught knowledge? Go ahead.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Yeah, how are you going to understand the doctrine of the Bible? Go ahead.
Them that are weaned from the milk.
You have to be what?
Weaned from the milk.
You got to be weaned from the milk like a child. There's a process. Babies use milk. You got to be weaned from the milk. You got to get off the milk. You got to deal with the milk and then be weaned off of it. Go ahead.
And drawn from the breast.
Go ahead.
10. For precept must be upon precept.
Because what is it?
Precept upon precept.
Right. That's who's going to learn knowledge and understand doctrine. You got to go precept upon precept. Precept upon precept. Go ahead.
Line upon line.
Go ahead.
Line upon line.
Go ahead.
Here a little and there a
You got to
little.
go here a little, and you got to go there a little. You got to jump from Genesis to Revelations to get a precept. Something that Isaiah is going to link up with something in Deuteronomy. Just like how we read it, we were reading in we were in Isaiah, right? Had that Isaiah 50 in verse 3 linked up with that Exodus. We got the understanding. Just how we got the understanding of the manna and what it was. That was a precept that linked up with the Deuteronomy. So, to answer the question, yes, you can read the Bible cover to cover. We all should do that. We all should do that. That should be your novel. But then also the precepts, the understanding comes through the precepts. Who had a question? John, yes, sir.
I'll just mention it says it twice just to
Yeah, to reiterate, precept upon precept. Precept upon precept. Line upon line. Right, so yes, you can read it cover to cover. I'm gonna start. I've been meaning to start. Just that every time I open the Bible, it's like throw a class together or something else. I haven't had a chance to just sit back and just read like I want to. But yeah, that audio Bible is good to just do that with if you don't have time, or you can just read it. But definitely you want to link up your precepts while you're reading. That's what we do when we're doing the Sabbath. A lot of times I'm like, oh yeah, that goes here. Boom. You see me writing, highlighting. Yeah, come linking up my precepts.
That's why
What's that?
That's why the churches don't have too much understanding, because they teaching that the precepts of the law is done away with, and the scripture lets you know in order to understand the Bible.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, that's why the church don't have no understanding, because they'll tell you that the Old Testament's done away with. Don't use that. But in the Old Testament, it's telling you how to read the Bible. David was dropping on how to read it. How can you? Yo, you gotta really think about it. How can you say that the Psalms, because it's part of the Old Testament, right? How can you really say in your mind that Psalms it's done away with? The Old Testament is done away with. Because I don't care, when you say Old Testament, you categorize it all.
Right.
From Genesis all the way to Matthew. So, you mean to tell me that David's writings of all this wisdom, knowledge, prayers don't matter? And then when you link this in there, the Apocrypha, and you dealing with Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, that's just, listen, that's everyday wisdom that a lot of you Negroes out here don't have. So how can you say that everyday common sense is done away with on how to deal with it? Bro, Ecclesiasticus tell you how to deal with everything.
John.
What's up?
And this the bigger kicker. They say, the Old Testament done away with this, so they'll go off talking about whatever they talking about.
Yeah.
When it's time for tithes and offerings.
Oh yeah, they'll be right back in the Old Testament. You gotta go right to the Old Testament to know what tithes and offering is. Yeah, that ain't done. It's funny. The whole Old Testament is done away with, but somehow didn't annihilate through his dying. Tithes and offerings just somehow that just stayed. That was just good.
Their Christ, when he was on the cross, he had grabbed the mic. He was like,
y'all can eat before I die. Y'all can eat pork, but y'all gotta make sure y'all tithe.
Drop the mic. Make sure y'all tithe.
Yeah, but y'all can eat pork. Come on, man. You gotta wake up, people. But we got any other questions? We got any questions in here? Any questions online? We'll give them a little second. Zach is hidden. Give them another minute. Y'all good in here? Nothing? All right, well, we're gonna sign off online, and we're gonna finish up the rest of the prayers for the Sabbath ceremony. So, listen, if you're in the Houston area and you want to be part of the Sabbath ceremony, the Sabbath prayers, come to class. All right, if you're in the Houston metropolitan area, come to class to get these prayers in, and we do it like that, okay? But if there's nothing else online, nothing else in class, we are going to say shalom.
Shalom.